This meeting is being live streamed.
It is. Whoa, take a little longer. There we go. All right, and let me switch to the Zoom here. So I hate it when I...
You just want to sleep under a bed or couch or something?
I swear Zoom changes stuff around on the menu bar just to fuck with me. There we go. All right. It appears... Oh, let me shut... Oof. I got like everything open. Holy shit.
That's not my fault. Why you got Final Cut Pro up and going?
Boy, I was teaching today. All right. Okay, everything else here is fine. I need to keep the web browser
box.
Oh, that tour box is always open, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So we ready?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm just going to start it. We're not going to do intros for this one because it's like the same.
Well, we have a special guest appearance
You do?
of the shadow.
Oh shit! What did I just do?
What did you just do?
Say something.
Oh,
Something.
Ow!
Something.
Okay. Thank you. Like I scratched my ear and I bumped the activation thing on the stupid
And it goes,
earbuds.
boop.
And went, whoop. Yep. All right, here we go. I'm just having to edit all this stuff now. Ready? It's the Culturesmash Cast, episode 589 for January the 13th, 2021. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of Culturesmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Tina?
Tina Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Nathan?
Nathan Savino, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Cheers, y'all.
I was about to say, some of those sounded a little slurred.
We are doing our 20...
Zach Martin, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
I thought I already did you.
Al Borland.
Sorry, Al Borland, HomeImprovement.tv.
If you start doing home improvement, I'm a worry.
Why am I wearing plaid again?
Hey, you got a toolkit.
He was messing with the light too, just like Al did with Tim on Home Improvement.
All right, I'm excited. We're going to get into our
I'm
best of
slap you
2021.
so fucking hard.
You laughing though. That's the thing.
I'm gonna slap the shit out you.
So if you wondered, as a listener of this show, what our favorite films of last year were, you're about to find out. I think probably we should just go ahead and say they're going to be minor spoilers. I don't know how deep we're going to go into each film, but
some of these are going to have, I mean,
is that reasonable for everybody? Are we doing minor spoilerage, even if it's something that the entire group hasn't seen?
I think we'll spoil some of it, but we won't go out and obviously try to spoil like the biggest things. Like that's not
the biggest things.
The point is talk about why we like the movies we like.
Why they're the best. Right. All right. So before we get into it, though, we want to say special thanks to Skinny Mixes for supporting Culture Smash Cast. The Skinny Mixes are coffee and dessert syrups that are 0 sugar, 0 calorie, and 0 to 2 carbs. Head on over to skinnymixes.com and try some of their syrups, such as white chocolate, salted dark chocolate, salted caramel, and the variety of cocktail mixes they offer, including margarita and different fruit flavors. Use promo code CULTURESMASH, all one word there, for 15% discount on your order. If you spend $50, you're going to get free shipping. And I actually think they're having some stackable deals right now too. Like if you bundle some flavors that are they're like seasonal flavors that they're discontinuing, you can stack the deals a little bit. I got to put an order in myself because I'm actually completely out. I finished my margarita mix last night. What the hell is going on with Nathan's face in that picture?
I don't know, but give me a second. There we go.
It's like, that's a drunk face if I've ever seen one. And if you're listening to the audio, I'm referring to the Zoom. If you're listening to the audio, I would implore you, come and join our live stream on Wednesday nights. We stream on YouTube every Wednesday on the Culture Smash TV YouTube channel.
Is it Wednesday?
Except tonight. Because of
somebody. A dumb bitch.
Because of a dumb bitch.
Somebody
AKA
made mistakey, a fucky wucky, and damn, we paid the price for it.
Yeah, it sounds like you did, because you guys did not like The Lion King.
Well, it's not that it was okay. It's not that it was bad, but I mean, Ada went and saw it on Broadway, and her experience of it was drastically different than mine.
Big difference between Broadway and Nashville, sir.
Yeah, but what it sounds like is I got fucked, and she got the good time.
You also got it post-COVID.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe they had fewer performers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not doing box office this week. We'll bring all that back next week. We're going to probably finalize a film ball game next week, I imagine, right?
Yep. Tina,
I mean, are we to?
But yeah, it's pretty much Tina in the bag.
Yeah, it looks like Tina is going to win this because of the Spider-Mans, which is incredible. I did not expect that to happen.
I did not. I kind of figured she could probably shoot up into second place because of the discrepancy between me and I think Steven was in second at the time. But
are we talking about how I absolutely decimated with one fucking movie? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, that is what we're talking about.
This is so bad. There's been a few times in the history of film ball. Avengers was one of those times. One of the Star Wars movies, I think one of the Star Wars movies, maybe Force Awakens or something, was the first time we did a split.
Yeah, because I was in that split.
Yeah, all the way back to the very first game. Do you remember the big movie that won it for the very first game? I do, because I had it.
Avengers?
No, we played way before Avengers. Hunger Games.
Oh shit!
Hunger Games.
I do, because Hunger Games just stayed. It was
slaughtered everything when it came out, and I had that movie.
Yeah, that movie got my $10.
It sure did. Mine too. So I'm excited. I always get excited to hear what everybody's favorite films of the previous year were. I feel like I got so excited toward the end of this playing catch up that I might have impacted people's lists more than I would have liked. But when I see something good, I just want to share it. I just want you guys to know about it. And boy, I saw some good stuff in the last 2 weeks. Really flip-flopped.
Some iffy stuff in the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure. I saw some things. So let's just get into it, right? Shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with our number 10 film of 2021. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, because whatever order we do here, we will maintain for the rest of the night.
I do not know what Tina's list is, so I'm fascinated.
So my number 10 is one that I debated putting on my list at all because I didn't actually finish watching it. But it's not because of the film itself, it's because of the people behind me having sex in the theater. What we did see of it, I absolutely enjoyed. I think you should probably say Spencer. The name. Spencer is the movie. I think I'm not the biggest fan of Kristen Stewart, but I think she did really well capturing a lot of dramatic effect and dramatic facial features and just that whole cerebral mindfuck paranoia, on edge, anxiety inducing bits. Bravo.
So. Zach loved this movie, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Zach?
We might see it a little later on someone's list.
Oh, wow.
On your list? It's on your list?
Look, top 10 was brutal this year.
The only reason it is number 10 on my list and not higher is because I did not finish it. So.
Okay, so I want to say something real quick. This is funny. I meant to bring this up pre-list starting. Is that we've had this discussion. Zach has said to me, and I don't know, you guys may feel the same, has said to me, especially we had it the first time back in August, that this was a shitty year for movies.
It wasn't that great.
I did not find this to be a shitty year for movies. In fact, some of the most impactful movies I've seen in a long time I saw this year. I've seen 40.
I don't think it was a shitty year for movies. I think it was, for us, it was a shitty year for time management.
Yeah. It was
well, for really you guys, yeah, but you guys had a lot of new changes going on over there that you had to contend with. So I mean, I think that's reasonable.
I'll say this. I was compared to 2020 when everything was shut down, I saw more movies in 2020 just not in theaters, compared to this year. This year, for some reason, it just felt like I could not or did not see the amount of films. I guess 2020, I was quarantined at home a lot too. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And when you're over here, which is where you were quarantined, we fucked around and didn't watch movies. We played games.
I mean, for me this year, the ones that made the top of my list were the unexpecteds. You know, the ones to where at the end of the year we go, oh man, gotta see, you know, example, Licorice Pizza, gotta see this. That's probably going to be on my top 10. Plot twist. Nope.
Yeah.
You know, so it was films throughout the year to where I'm like, well, I've heard this is good. And I was like, oh, hot damn.
Well, to my point, I saw 45 films in theater. I've seen in total 60 films. I had no problem finding 10 fantastic movies.
I didn't have any problem filling my top 10 slots, but it was just like, for me, my bottom half of my list, outside of one, are kind of like, they're pretty good, but I'm not going to be up here just being foaming at the mouth over them.
Yeah.
There were a lot of movies that, to Zach mentioned kind of this, that I would hear positive word on it, and then I would go see it and not agree at all. So I think it's a very divisive year for movies.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a great list. I'm excited to get into it.
And we all each have our own, like me and Nathan tend to have similar lists because we base ours on
garbage.
Fuck you. What makes us feel.
Nico, you're getting a high five next time I see you.
Emotional value.
Yeah.
So with that,
I was just about to say. Oh, can I speak?
Oh,
yes, go.
All right. I was just about to say I wanted to see Spencer, and I remember Steven and Zach both talking about it, but now that it has Tina's stamp of approval, I'm like, okay, I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Okay, so Tina, with your number 10, we also need to get from you what your criteria was for picking your top 10 for all of your films. What did it have to do to make your list?
So I had to have fun or enjoy it. It had to have grabbed my attention, which automatically ruled out Green Knight because I almost fell asleep during it.
Which is one of my examples of good word
things,
of mouth.
Anyway, shut up. You're interrupting me. I had to have the intention all through the movie. I have to think about the movie more and more as like, if I see a movie in theaters and I think about it the day after, okay. If I'm thinking about it the week after, okay. If I'm thinking about it like a month after, I'm like, okay, that's definitely, I still have my attention on this movie. And it has to be fun for me. It has to have, I don't know, that rewatchability for me. So that's my criteria.
So Spencer made your list. You could foresee yourself rewatching that one.
Oh, absolutely. Once I get over the trauma of associating that movie with sex smell, then yes.
I get it.
Man,
I
feel so bad about that.
It does have a Blu-ray.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
have
but
a
it's
Blu-ray.
like the Blu-ray is by the same people that put out Pig.
At least it's not.
It's okay. But that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, since we're on your screen, Nico, why don't you go next?
Sure. Just real quick. So my criteria is a lot of the same. Like it needs to basically resonate with me on an emotional level. I've seen. There were movies I've seen this year that didn't make the list because they are technically good and I just don't care. They didn't grab me in the story. So that's a large part of it. There definitely has to be an emotional connection. It has to be a well-made movie. It has to be something that I'm thinking about later, like well after the movie. My first one is going to be Spider-Man. No way I'm putting it at number 10 because it's going to be higher. Spoilers. It's actually Roadrunner. Roadrunner, the Anthony Bourdain documentary. Honestly, the only reason I put this low, because I was struggling on where to put it, is because the controversy of them, the computer generating his voice to do voiceover work, dinged it because it made it enough uncomfortable for me that I didn't want to put it higher. I will actually also say I have a lot more documentaries than I usually have on this list this year. So that's going to be neat. But
that makes me happy to hear.
The Roadrunner documentary on Anthony Bourdain is fascinating. If you only know him from like Ports Unknown or his shows, I recommend checking it out. It's a really good look onto why he became the television host that he did and his struggles with addiction, his family life, and it helped
a flight to Ireland go by fast.
It had to. Two of the movies I watched.
Oh, is that when you guys watched it?
Yeah, that's when I watched it.
Yeah, I was asleep.
Yeah. But I like it. I really recommend it. It's just, it has this weird bit where there's some narration by air quote Anthony Bourdain that's really just a generated use of his voice to read some of his written work, which is his words. So it's not entirely weird or wrong, I guess, but the fact that it's not him reading it. I have another documentary on here that handles similar concept in a much better way.
And it also helped that he also read Kitchen Confidential this year.
Yeah.
Which is
but you know what? That's what's so effective about that Roadrunner documentary, though, is it makes you want to read his books and go and watch. Like when I saw Roadrunner, I immediately went to HBO Max and watched episodes of No Reservations, because you don't really understand what level of cultural impact he had until you watch that documentary. And it's like, shit, he has made an entire generation of people think about other cultures in a different way through his food, and his travel shows. He was like a poet, the way he would write. And I agree with you that part did bother me. I was really freaked out. We saw it in the theater. It was a fun theater experience to see that movie. I agree with you. It's a reasonable argument to have. And we might elaborate on it more in a moment.
Yeah, who knows?
It might happen in a moment. We'll see. All right, Nathan, what is your criteria for picking your movies?
Well, I'm easy. So
we know that.
Go off entertainment value. I have to be able to watch it again. And it's got to be something that I can like sit through or like observe, or like things stand out, like lines stand out that I can repeat lines, or I can retell the entire story or something like that. So everything on my list I've watched twice this year, and I've only seen 37 movies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a low number there, sir.
It was low, but and it's kind of funny because the movies, like literally everything on my list, I've seen twice.
Okay. Well, so what is your number 10?
Except for one of them, I did not see twice, but I will see multiple times again. My number 10 is Those Who Wish Me Dead. It's an Angelina Jolie film. And
the one in the forest where it's on fire and stuff.
On fire, yeah. I love that movie. It's basically her dealing with her own trauma as far as fighting fires, and she gets this kind of redemption story of helping this kid out who is being chased by government operatives to keep secrets from getting released. And it's just a really good film.
It's so funny because I was interested in that movie until it got bumped from theater to HBO Max. And then the word wasn't good on it. Like it was long is what I heard, or drug. So I just didn't get around to it, but I root for Angelina Jolie. So I'm happy to hear you liked it.
I've seen it 3 times this year.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I
guess I got to watch it. All right.
I'll check that out.
I mean, I'll look at it. I like Angelina Jolie. I do. Even when she was like weird and whacked out of her mind, I enjoyed her then too.
So this is why I like top 10s, because you get different perspectives. You go, oh, I didn't see that. Hold on, let me write that down.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
And I kind of wanted to see it anyway.
Unless it's some bullshit I know that's bullshit that ends up at their number 1 fucking black hat spot.
All right, wait. Let him finish his actual thought.
I'm going to tell you this. Like, it's going to be one. You're going to find holes in the story. But Angelina Jolie has this way of connecting emotional, where you get invested in her as a character, and she can deliver in a way that you feel very relatable to her. Like you watch her and you kind of get the characterization. Like when you watch Girl Interrupted, you really got a sense of the crazy. When you watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you got her comedic, serious self. In this movie, you really feel where her character development came from, and you could sense the emotion behind her actions.
So you invested like really more in the character than you did in the story.
The story, I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed more so her and the chemistry with this little kid.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Zach, what is your criteria for choosing your top 10 list?
So,
Here we go.
Typically, for me, it comes down to story is, of course, Paramount, but you also have cinematography,
Paramount
editing.
And Universal.
I mean,
What about
editing is universal for everything, and Warner Brothers are overlords.
I thought that was Disney.
Fucking hell for me.
All right, go ahead.
It comes down to I'm much more of a technical person, but story is always king, as well as staying power. Like, I had stuff on my top 10 that was higher, but as time went by, I went, God, I just have no, it might be a good film. I am done with that film, though. I just have no urge to ever go back to it.
Yep.
So repeatability, library association. So like, do I want this on my shelf?
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge thing for me.
Oh, I agree with you. If it's in my top 10, it's going to go on my shelf at some point. I like it that much.
All that being said, let me break all those rules because my number 10 slot is always, there's the good, the bad.
If you put fucking Resident Evil on your number 10.
No, that's the bad.
Oh.
So we have the good, the bad, and we got the ugly. And my number 10 slot is always that weird one or that crazy one, that controversial one.
I'm waiting.
So my number 10 is Malignant.
Oh,
I hate you. I hate you because
I'm not going to say it's a good film.
Wait a minute. I have not watched Malignant because you sold me so hard against it that I just said, fuck it. I'm not going to bother. And now it's on your top 10, you son of a bitch.
Because this film is so goddamn ridiculous. It is a goddamn trash fire that you have to fucking see this shit, boys.
Oh, God.
Fuck you, Zach. No, that's bullshit. That is such bullshit. And you know it is.
I'm not.
I've seen it twice.
You
watched it twice?
Yes.
You watched it twice?
Yes. I'm telling you, this movie is the dumbest shit. It is bad, but I have to respect it because it has the goddamn balls to do what it does.
What Tina said.
I didn't hear because this is my moment.
You sacrificed your
criticism,
your ability to criticize anything on our list.
Like,
am I the only one on the group who hasn't seen this? Have you guys seen it?
I've seen it.
But I've seen his reactions to it and how he's like, top 10.
Yeah, you and Nathan both, and now it's
shit.
I better see that on your shelf, you son of a bitch.
Dude, I would buy the fucking 4K if it came out. There is no 4K though. It was a 4K stream with Dolby Atmos, but
Zach, this is such bullshit. I feel like
is
this on the list.
No, that's just my number 10. I'm telling you, number 10 is exclusively for shitty films.
So wait a minute. No, because you make I know you, Zach. You make like a worst list, and this would have been on your worst list. Like,
no. It probably would have been my number 10 worst. No, it wouldn't be on my worst fucking list. I've seen way worse shit than this. Like, what I mean is, this is not a good movie, but this is like Jigsaw, you're having a good fucking time watching it.
Oh, you mean Spiral?
Yeah,
Spiral is the one we had a good time in that was a suck movie.
Like, at no point am I saying this is good. I'm saying you are going to laugh your ass off.
Okay, I don't have room on my list for that, but I guess I can get that.
Yeah,
because Nathan put Black Hat on his list because he liked Chris Hemsworth's tits, and back in the day when we had Dwayne on, he put movie 43 on his list because it had a joke he liked. So I guess I get it. It's just I don't have room on my list for that.
At least I put Black Hat on my list because I loved it to a point. Zach talked shit about this movie all year.
Yeah, you kind of did.
Yeah.
All right, Steven.
I've had this in the slot since it came out. I'm like, People gotta see this shit. It is stupid.
All right, let's stop talking about Zach. Steven.
Do you tell?
Oh man. All right. So my criterion is, and like some of you guys have said, story is paramount. Story is what matters. But for me, it's always a couple of things. It's rewatchability for sure, but also shareability. Is it a movie that I might not necessarily be in the biggest rush to watch again, but I will certainly fucking recommend it to somebody else? Such as, like example, Irreversible.
Like Malignant.
If you're in, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But like you take a movie like Irreversible or I Spit on Your Grave or any number of these movies that I might not want to watch all the time, but cinematically and as far as impact, want to share, then it gets popped on my fucking list. It goes in my list. If a movie hit me in that way, was I emotionally impacted by it? If you can impact me emotionally, that's huge points for me, and I will rewatch that movie over and over again.
One quick qualification about my list: in theater releases, like I saw it in a theater only.
Okay, I
Streaming
usually
no streaming films are on my list.
No.
you went
Sorry.
to the theater and saw Malignant.
So, with the exception of number
I was
10,
gonna say I don't think you did, sir. I was gonna say.
Okay, well, Malignant. God. Okay, I'll leave.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I wish my list was all theater, but because of the times we live in, it's not the case. And also, I have documentaries on my list as well, and you can't always see those in theater.
Yeah.
Story, innovation is big for me, and shareability and emotional impact. Those are the things. I don't even have to have fun with it. And in fact, there's movies on my list I did not fucking have fun with.
Yeah.
But boy,
Yes.
I love them. I can't wait to revisit them with a different set of eyes, and they will be on my shelf. That happened a lot more this year than I think has happened in previous years. And when you hit me that way, that means something. And that's why I was saying in the pre-show that for me, this year was really great year for movies. Like really great. So with that said, my number 10, let me actually pull up my list here so I can do this properly.
Way to be prepared, Steven.
Well, it's open. My number 10 was Mass. So Mass is a film. It did get a really brief theatrical release, but I had to see it on Amazon.
I wanted to see this and I missed it.
Boy, you didn't want to spend $4. I told you the other day.
Yeah, because I wanted to see it at Belcourt.
I would like to have seen it that way as well.
The rules.
So have you guys heard of this movie?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yes.
Okay, so Mass is a film that tells a story of two couples, husband and wife, that get together in a church, not in the actual church, but in like a meeting room within the church, because they've both gone through. I don't know if I really want to say what they've gone through. I don't know if I feel like I should. Is it in the trailer at all?
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, basically, the two families have dealt with a school shooting. And they get together to talk about it, to hash it out. And let me tell you something. This movie, it's a ballsy movie anyway, to do a movie and have the entire movie, other than the first minute and a half of it, set in one location. And it's a bland ass location, like that type of space should be. The entire runtime of the movie, other than a couple of minutes, is in this space with these four people sitting around a round table. It has, I just wanted to point that out really quick. It has Martha Plimpton in it. I don't know if you guys know who Martha Plimpton is, but if you know indie movies from the 90s, she was like Winona Ryder. She was in fucking everything. Martha Plimpton is everything. And she was great. And I haven't seen her in years. And she comes out of nowhere for me. She's probably been acting this whole time and I just haven't seen her. But she comes out of nowhere and just owns this movie. There's a couple of times, and the reason this is at number 10 is because it can feel a little like a play, because it's dialogue heavy, and there's some deliveries that are like kind of like stage play-ish. But then when she comes in with the emotional beats, it'll tear your heart out. She is amazing. Jason Isaacs is in this movie also, and he is also incredible. And Ann Dowd, who I haven't seen in anything except Handmaid's Tale. She's the aunt, Aunt, you know, Aunt Lydia. Yep. She is also really, really good. You guys, this movie, it's so simple in its existence. It's just, I can't talk to you about the cinematography. I can talk to you about the editing because it's well edited and assembled. But these are like tour de force performances. Everyone's talking about like your previous movie, talking about Kristen Stewart. People should be talking about fucking Martha Plimpton because she kills it in this movie. It's a simple story. It's dark as hell. It's humorless as it should be, and powerful. It's, you guys, it's amazing. It's so good. The only reason it's this high on my list at number 10 is because of the feeling of stage play that I get from time to time, and it just, that I don't like that feeling in film. As much as I love Glenn Ross, there's times in that one it feels like a stage play, and I have to ding it for that too.
It kind of breaks the suspension of disbelief because you realize, oh yeah, we're just staying at the same place the whole time I'm watching a play.
But it makes it feel intimate in a way too. Like
it does. It does. You're like in the room with them.
Yes.
Now, when it's working, you're in the room sitting at the table with these two couples, and all you want to do is fucking get up and leave because it's so hard to be there. But when it doesn't work, and it's not like it happens often, it's just a few times I'm like, ooh, this feels a little stage play in its delivery. But it's a minor quibble, you guys. It's still at number 10 on my list, and it takes something to get into my list.
It's one of those things too. There's moments and stories where you want to be the fly on the wall, and it sounds like you were the fly on the wall.
For the entire time. And then in this one, there's a few moments where you don't want to be. You just want to get up and leave, and you can't. All right, so we are back around to Tina.
Yes. My number 9 is a totally fun, not at all serious, quirky movie called Free Guy. Like, I needed 2 of my movies at least. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, 2 of my movies have like the same amount of time of Chris Evans in it. So this is one of them. But we watched it when we were in Ireland. I think it was like raining that night. And
we were staying in.
Yeah, we would. And this was just a great movie to just lay on the bed, watch, and just laugh. Like, it had funny, geeky jabs. It had pop culture references. Ryan Reynolds, of course, is always adorable to watch. But yeah, I had fun with it, and honestly, I'm up for watching it again.
Awesome. I really liked this movie. I saw it in the theater. I just saw it because it was one of those days when I had paid a surge fee to get to the theater to see a movie, and I figure if I spent $20 to go to the theater, I might as well see more than one. And I'm with you. I had a good time with it. It's spoiler alert, not in my top 10, but if we were doing a top 20, it would be. I had a good time with it. I think
one of the reasons it is in my top 10 is it doesn't take itself seriously. It doesn't try to be one of the epics like Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's supposed to be this, coming of age trial by fire story with all these pop references. No, Free Guy is just like, fuck it. This guy's in a video game. He don't know shit.
Yeah. You know what?
That's the entire premise.
I would like to rewatch that movie now after Facebook making their meta announcement because it feels more appropriate now, right?
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. Nico, did you like it?
I liked it. It's not on my list, but similar to you. I thought it was fun. I had a good time with it. I thought it was a surprisingly earnest movie. Like it felt fun. Yeah, I thought that was pretty decent.
It seems like I might have gotten disconnected from it just a little bit toward the end when all the Marvel references came in.
Yeah, the as end much is, as like it's like we have to have a kind of a flashy in battle fight scene. So let's get that knocked out of the way at the end. That's pretty much what that was.
Yeah, but I agree.
Although
That's a reasonable.
it's good.
Yeah, true. I mean, I can see why if you're into like if fun is an important part of your list, I can see why it's there. I have not that many bits of hate for that movie.
I can get around to seeing it.
All right, Nico.
Mine is Don't Look Up. Adam McKay, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. We actually
you will see this on the lists again.
You will definitely see this on the list again.
You would see
son of a bitch.
You would see this on this list if it was not for my rules.
Your rules except number 10.
Except number 10.
It was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we just watched it. It was so surprisingly topically poignant. It's scary. It's like how bureaucracy, our modern American bureaucracy, would probably deal with a global catastrophe. Is this movie is turned up to 11 like it's a cartoon, but it's not far off of what it would likely happen in real life, and that's sad and depressing. But it worked really well. I think there are some bits where it's just kind of slugging along, but for the most part, I think the concept gets across really well in a very ham-fisted way that I think society needs.
It ended exactly how it needed to have ended.
Yes, I agree.
Exactly.
I'm glad that it did not end like with everything turning out okay. It also has one of the best examples of Chekhov's gun
Yes,
that I've seen in recent cinema.
I'm so annoyed because I guess I'm the only one in the podcast who hasn't seen it, and I kept reading such negative things about it.
Which is shocking to me. It's like the people who give it a negative like review. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, are you the person the film is talking about?
The person that would give it a negative review, let's just say Alan Smith.
Okay. Now, because you said that, I'm going to watch it.
It is
in jokes,
but dude, it made me tear up at the end.
You will
really?
See.
Yes, I watched it
this.
like basically twice, and it made me tear up both times.
Fuck! I'm so annoyed I haven't watched this movie.
The fact that it's showing up on at least two other people's lists, like it should tell you should watch it. I told you should watch it. Like
also the fact that
I know, and I meant to
been on his list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I meant to. I was going to, and I don't know what it is. I felt like
it's on Netflix. It's the streaming phenomenon. It's there. You can get to it whenever. So that's
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
My hurdles were like there were so many movies on Netflix that I really wanted to watch and I never got around to it.
I came in one day when Tina was like 2 minutes into the movie and I mentioned, oh hey, I really want to watch that movie, and then we didn't get around to it for another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like if it's a made or purchased by streaming and not a documentary, I just don't feel the urge to prioritize.
Yep.
I did,
and that's why.
I had a couple of weekends where I just stayed in and watched like dedicated streaming Netflix movies, Amazon, and a good number of those were the documentaries. But I did get some actual cinema films through that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
We will talk about this more later.
So I feel this is the first time so far in the list that I feel really sad that I haven't seen something everyone else has watched.
I told you, motherfucker.
I know, it's a fucking Netflix movie though. I'm like, I tried Red Notice and I got through 15 minutes, so I think it burned me for Netflix.
Do I like Netflix fucking movies?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I know. I'm actually gonna watch it now. I promise. I know it's on multiple lists. I'm gonna watch it.
The Sandra Bullock movie was pretty decent.
I watched 10 minutes of that movie. I couldn't.
Bird Box was hot garbage.
No, he's talking about the new one that's probably worse. Yeah, she's like she killed somebody and was in prison and all this stuff.
I know.
I saw about 10 minutes of it.
All right.
Nathan. So Nathan.
Oh, my number 9 is actually a Disney movie. It's Disney Pixar. It's Luca.
I haven't seen this one.
Oh my gosh! So. Before I even saw this movie, I would see it everywhere. And I'm like, what is with this like merman, whatever? Well, it turns out it's about sea monsters, but it really hit my heart because of the story of friendship and like figuring out who you are going to be. Like if you're that awkward teenage person or you didn't really fit in as a teenager and you kind of are torn between what your family wants and what you want for yourself. And plus, it also reminded me of Little Mermaid a little bit too. But it was just a great. I don't know. I've loved every Pixar film I've ever seen, and this one was just up there. You can shut the fuck up, Malignant Zach.
I just want to say, I love, for our audio listeners, I love that Nathan's just basically holding a cell phone around his hotel room, just kind of occasionally walking around.
We're getting the tour.
I'm getting a good view out the window.
It makes me miss hotel room.
Yeah, this is Seattle, y'all.
I really can't comment on this one because I haven't seen it. And all I've seen is just a little bit of the trailers and stuff, but I didn't think the CG looked particularly good.
I'm getting really worried about Pixar because Disney seems to just be dumping every Pixar movie straight to Disney Plus and not going to the theater.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I watched half this movie and then turned it the fuck off because I'm like that guy from The Thing where I'm watching like the game show on the TV and go, I know how this one ends. Turn it off.
I mean, I get that, but at the same time, don't you kind of know how pretty much any
movie's
going to end?
You ever been watching a movie and you're just on autopilot and then you realize, I could be doing so many other things right now.
How's it end?
Well, obviously, I know how it fucking ends. He probably spoilers. He probably stays on land, and his family has to accept that he's going to move on to other things, and they go back to the sea. How am I doing so far?
Not like that, but
let me guess. He goes to school.
So let me ask you, what did you think of the animation? Was it good? Because I remember seeing the trailers, thinking this doesn't look good.
I loved it.
Pixar, I'm not going to poo-poo them because when it comes time for them to really fucking show off, they can really fucking show off. But I hate how Cal Arts art style has invaded Pixar.
I was kind of asking the man who put it on his list, sir.
Well, he answered.
I was gonna say when Soul came out, I loved the story of Soul. The imagery of Soul I didn't like. This one I really appreciated how it was. The color schemes were very well done. The town in Italy that it's set in was very it felt very much like an Italian town, imagery.
So it's a style difference. You just preferred the style to that one over Soul. Soul definitely did have a specific style.
Well,
I
even
couldn't
when
watch
you
it
look
because
at
of the jazz music.
You look at Inside Out. Inside Out was a wonderful color scheme. This just had a different feel to it, and I don't know. Okay. I thought it was beautiful.
All right.
It would have been better if I could see it in theaters.
Yeah, I agree. It was a film that you can tell was made for theaters.
All of Pixar's movies that are getting bumped to Disney Plus.
Yeah, and I'm just fuck, I would have paid for this in the theater. Soul, I was pissed the fuck off I didn't get to see it in the theater.
But wait a minute. But I will say this. If you do have time to watch it in Steven's Theater, Disney Plus, it's free now.
It's probably not going to happen because they sing.
Do they?
Don't they?
There's no singing in this.
There's no singing? Oh, no. All right. Well, then I might watch it. All right.
Name a Pixar film where they sing.
I don't know. I was afraid they would sing.
And there we go.
No, it's not a musical. It's not like a Disney movie. It's
I'm feeling that's going to be a problem with movies on lists.
All right, Zach, you got a real movie on your list now?
All right. Time to make Steven mad.
All right, go.
So my number 9, let me look at it real quick. There we go. My number 9 was a film some might call controversial based off our audio review. So my number 9 is Spencer.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
So
I'm not even speaking on this movie.
Again, my number 10 slot is the ridiculous one. And then honestly, my 9 through 6 are I mean, it's fine. This is a film that has 10 out of 10 cinematography, 10 out of 10 performances, and I need to rewatch it just to be sure, because again, readjusting expectations of what we expected, and also having research done about the person, which this film requires, which that's dang against it.
Don't feel like it does.
I mean, I didn't know she had a fucking eating problem.
They portray that in the movie.
I thought she was worried about her weight, not that she was oh, I have an eating issue.
I mean, to the point where they're making them weigh when they come into.
I didn't know what that was though.
But they say it. I didn't know what it was either.
They didn't say it till an hour and a half later.
Well, that's fine.
Knowing that going in,
bitch, you need to rewatch this movie.
That's what I'm saying. Knowing that going in again with those readjusted expectations of what to actually fucking expect from this movie, I feel like I'm going to enjoy it more.
Also, Zach went to the bathroom during the best scene of the movie.
God damn it!
Which scene?
Yeah,
the scene where she's playing with her children
at candlelight.
Yes, that is 100%. I haven't even seen all of it, but that is 100% the best.
That is one of the best scenes.
I was like, oh, this is a scene I can go. And I go the rest of them, I come back, and she's like finishing up.
And then you find out later that the whole thing was fucking ad-libbed. It's like, holy shit.
Steven's like, you bitch, you missed the best scene of the film. It happened again! Fucking Captain America Civil War, now this! Fucking hell. Anyway, that's my number 9. I do recommend it.
I'm not going to speak more on this.
I might recommend it harder
because you might hear about this movie again.
But for now, that's where I have it placed.
All right. So my number 9 is one we've already touched on, so I'm not going to speak on it too much. It is Roadrunner, the Anthony Bourdain documentary. The thing that's amazing about this documentary for me is we know how it ends. You know, he's dead at the end of the documentary. But I came out, well, I mean, you don't know, you don't know, you know. But the funny thing is, coming out of the documentary, it's sad because he's dead, and it's sad how we lost him. Because if you pay attention, he had a troubled life. You know, he on and off drugs, depression, lots of other things. But it's a weird feeling coming out of it because I felt like uplifted in a way, because it makes you want to experience life. Watching Anthony Bourdain tell you about stuff makes you want to experience life. You want to experience food, and you want to experience other cultures, and you want to hear what people, you know, from other places have to say, because he did, you know? And I think that's the most fascinating thing for me, because it's not like a common, when somebody dies at the end of a movie, you don't come out like fucking like uplifted. But for this one, I did. And yes, I agree with you. And the reason it is so low on my list is because of the decision they made with the computer algorithm tool to recreate his voice. I think it was unnecessary.
I didn't notice it.
I think sometimes it's seamless. Like it just feels like him. Like when it's working really well, it just feels like he's reading his emails. But the thing that bothered me, I think I remember even whispering it to you, and I don't think you heard it. It's like, how did he read this fucking email?
Yeah,
how did he do it? Because he's fucking dead, and it's a distraction.
That was my thought about when I was watching it. It's like, these emails or something, he must have read this before its death or something. I don't know.
It made no sense, right?
Yeah, because
and it was throwing me off in the movie until later reading that it was a computer tool. I think it would have been just as impactful or more so if they'd gotten someone important in his life to read the emails. You know, get one of those chefs. Because I loved hearing from the other chefs that like were family to him in the movie. Get one of them to fucking read the emails. Like I mentioned
when I said it, I've got a documentary about a list that deals with a similar thing in a way that does it a lot better.
But I can't recommend this movie enough. This is the same guy, and it's so funny. This director has always just got to screw me up. Because his last movie I also loved, which was the Mr. Rogers documentary. And I was so with that movie till the last 2 minutes. And the last 2 minutes of that movie, like, just fucking dropped salt in the wound. It made me so mad. So this director has always got to do something to screw around with his movie that is destructive. It just, every time.
It's like, here it comes.
Yep, here it comes. But seeing this movie in the theater was a joy.
That was a hell of a day.
It was a hell of a day.
It was a triple feature day.
Yep. And I'm annoyed at the movie because it also makes me think of Asia Argento a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I do love me some Asia Argento. You know, she's, you know, one of the Eurotrash queens. So got to appreciate that. But yeah, I came out of it feeling a little different about her, sadly. All right, Tina.
All right. My number 8. I will say, I think this movie rocked. You know, most people complain about the plot, but for me, it didn't leave me feeling like I was up a river without a paddle. It helped me reiterate my love of puns. And I got to see the eighth wonder of the world again, the backside of water. Yes, I'm talking about Jungle Cruise. Suck it.
I was really trying hard to figure out where you were going with
I was trying to figure out how many puns I could throw in before everybody was just completely lost.
What the hell you're doing? Yeah.
Jungle Cruise, I honestly forgot it came out this year because my year has felt so long. But I remember I was so excited for this movie, and I wasn't expecting a cinematic masterpiece. I never am when it comes to like these kind of Disney movies. It was fun. They were able to take a decent plot and run with it based off of a ride that didn't really have a plot other than you're going on a cruise and here's some funny jokes. I loved Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson's chemistry. Their
chemistry makes the movie.
Yes, and I loved the brother. It felt like a Disney version of The Mummy for me.
It was a Disney version of The Mummy. It straight up is.
I fucking love The Mummy, so I'm going to love
Just to clarify, the Brendan Fraser Mummy.
Yes.
The good Mummy.
Yes. It didn't come on my, but I completely agree with you on everything you're saying about this movie. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it as well. Ada and I actually went to the theater and saw it on a date night. And I guess my complaints and the reason it's not on my list. Oh, stupid Apple Music just came up because I bumped my earbuds.
I
blew it. Is the sheer ridiculous level of CGI.
Totally ridiculous CGI.
It's like,
but I'm here for
you
it.
can't build anything. Like, they didn't build anything. Everything was of a CGI set.
They built part of a ship.
Boy, have you seen the movie?
The trailer?
No. So the answer is no. There's times where that part of the ship they built is the only thing in the scene that's real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They built part of a ship.
I mean, they could have done more. They could have done a little more. It just like, I felt like sometimes I felt like the ending of Shang-Chi, spoilers, that movie's not on my list, like a cartoon at some point with just some people placed in there. But that said, I love Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt is quickly becoming someone who can do no wrong for me. And The Rock has proven in Jumanji that he can do that sort of dry comedy. And I'm with you. It's not on my list, but I had fun. I had fun with it. Like, I've looked at the 4K release a couple of times and thought that'd be fun to have on my shelf. Not for $27 fucking dollars.
So would you watch Mary Poppins Returns?
No.
But it's Emily Blunt.
I was tempted because it was Emily Blunt. I was tempted. Okay, cool. That's a good pick. I enjoy that pick. It's not for me on my list, but I enjoy that pick.
Yeah, good job, Tina.
Yeah. Nico?
All right, I guess my number 9 is staying in the Disney wheelhouse. Is going to be Encanto.
You will hear about this movie more later.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Again, Zach, malignant fuck.
I really felt a lot of sympathy, a lot of emotional connection to the kind of family stress in this movie and how it's kind of dealt with. Tina and I kind of had a discussion about it resolves too cleanly, and I give it a leeway because it's a Disney movie and how else is it going to resolve? But in terms of the middle parts of it, I think dealing with the older sister, Surface Pressure is a song, and that whole concept is very sympathetic with just anyone that has to deal with stress and responsibility and can't show those cracks. It's just a fun movie.
I'm uncomfortable how often he keeps looking at me. He's talking about it.
Well, because
you want to interact with somebody. I keep doing it to Zach, and he doesn't react either.
Yeah, it's also because Tina's been singing a lot of songs nonstop.
Oh my gosh, so the songs get stuck in your head.
Yeah, it's one of the better musicals from Disney as of late in terms of the song quality.
I can't have an opinion on this because they sing, and I automatically don't like it much.
It's the only musical I've got on my list.
Before I have my 2 pennies on this,
we don't need your money.
No. So in Luca, what's the line? It's like, you're a stupido, Bruno. And in this film, we don't talk about Bruno. So who is Bruno, and what the fuck did he do to piss off Disney?
He must have done something very bad.
But Bruno's a very common name in romantic languages, so...
Yeah, but that's two Disney films this year insulting Bruno. Like, what the fuck?
That's fair.
That's
Um, I hated, like,
Oh man.
violently hated the last 3 minutes of this film. Like, violence. Like, I wanted to punch a wall. I fucking hated the ending.
You'll hear more about my opinions on the ending later.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Tina,
Same.
I like how Tina, apparently it's higher up on Tina's list, but she has stronger opinions on the ending than I do.
Okay.
I mean-
well, let's save some discussion for then.
That's the only thing. The rest of the film for me is watchable. But the ending,
Yeah, that's
I
what you
was
said,
like,
it was watchable.
the ending, I was like, fuck you.
All right. I think that's us. So Nathan?
Nathan?
So my number 8 is Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, man.
It's gonna be
I
one of those days, isn't it?
Oh.
fucking loved this compared to the first one because I hated the first
make a
Venom.
drink.
Oh, are you walking
He's,
off?
he's going to make he needs a cocktail.
It is better than the first one.
It is way better than the first one. I found
Is it?
Yes, it
Yes.
is way
Yes.
better. Way better than the first one. And actually, the only reason I watched this was because I remember Tina and Nico actually seeing it in theater. And they were talking about how fun it was. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll give it a chance. So on my little plane ride back, I ended up watching it. And Woody Harrelson, phenomenal.
Woody Harrelson's wig, can we all agree, was not phenomenal?
Oh God, his wig was bad, but
Yeah.
kind of made the character even better.
I mean, I didn't care about it. I wear crappy wigs sometimes. Man. But I loved the humor in this. Like there's some movies they try to incorporate humor and just does not land or does not stick. I was laughing my ass off at Venom's little quips and how he talks, and just like there's a scene in there where he's trying to console what's his face and making breakfast and all that, and it was just so funny. I just enjoyed it so much. So yeah,
I will say one of my favorite scenes in that movie is when Venom is having Eddie draw the things, and he's like, "What are you saying?" Eddie's just like, "A house,"
Mhm.
and Venom's like, "This Eddie." I
Oh,
will say that's one of my favorites.
the whole club scene too, where he does the mic drop, and I was like, that is me on a drunk night every single time.
Okay, that kind of is.
I really love that this is on your list. Like I didn't. It's okay. I was better than the first one. I love Woody Harrelson in it, but I love that this is on your list.
I can't even, like, I want to root for, because I like Tom Hardy, and I like some of the interactions he has with Venom when the two of them interact, but I don't feel like there was anything to the movie. Like there just wasn't any story for me.
Oh, there was a story for me.
Woody Harrelson was fine, but not as good as I had thought. And I think the issue I had too also was that with the first movie, it felt like like there was nothing happening till the final fight at the end of the movie, and I felt like this one kind of did the same thing. Like it's a bunch of like blah 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 till it finally something happens.
There's not a middle action piece. It pretty much just only rests on the end. It's an hour and a half long, so it's a very short superhero movie. So
I'm glad for that. I'm glad for that.
I think it's good, but I think they could have extended it a little bit in the middle to give some more action set pieces or something. It's also Andy Serkis's like directorial debut, so it's not terrible for
it's
that
not.
either. Is it?
He directed it.
He directed it. I thought this was it's definitely one of his first ones.
Yeah, I don't know what else he's directed. But yeah.
I mean, he did the Jungle Book Netflix remake.
Well, but that's not a theater.
This is the first one that was in a theater that I saw.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you had a good time with it, buddy.
He came out of the film. He came out of the film. He shot on 70 millimeter.
All right, boy.
Breathe.
Are we ready to do your number 8?
Number 8.
My number 8
Please make it be something that makes sense.
You know what? I'm going to change my list and break my rules.
No, you're not. Just do your number 8.
Do I have to?
Yes.
All right. So are we going with Zach cannot change his list?
No, don't.
Zach
No
cannot
changing now. The
change
show is
his
happening.
All right, motherfuckers. Well, my number 8 is the Green Knight. Because, yeah, go make yourself a drink. Get some ice for me, too. So, y'all fucking did this. You're like, Zach can't change his list. Okay. Fucking. So this is a film that just worked for me. It was really like this. No, it's to the right. There you go.
That's not what I want.
It's a dreamy, like film. With
I don't know.
some,
I can definitely see how this is definitely a Zach film. It felt like you had your head up your ass the entire time.
yeah.
Nailed it.
I mean, I like shit like Excalibur and that shit.
I'm a
Like-
little confused. Like, usually you come through with like some solid explanations for movies, and like this top 10 feels like it's a trigger list more than
Well, that's what I'm saying is like number 9 through 6 is kind of like, you know, yes, I enjoyed it.
Well,
You gotta
okay.
wait, you gotta wait
so,
till the top 5.
So now, to be fair, I have seen The Green Knight on a lot of critics' top 10 lists. I've seen it on a lot of lists. Now, those critics like those elitists, like put on your, put on your French outfit and go have a good old elitist art house time.
French outfit.
Yeah, put on your French outfit.
my
Not
beret.
just the hat.
Not just the beret.
Not just the beret. You got to fully dress
man.
up, sir.
But no, I actually enjoyed this. I know this film was very divisive, and you know, I'm not a fan of director David Lowery. I'm not. I fucking hated A Ghost Story.
Oh yeah, let's eat pie for 8 minutes. You love that one.
And to be honest with you, in a better year, this film wouldn't be on my list.
I'm a little surprised because you raved about this movie when it came out. You
Yeah.
really liked it.
Yeah, you notice how it's so low.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Spencer, I'm like, I need to give that one another shot. Number 10 is like the garbage fire that you have to see. This is like the next step where I'm like, I mean, shit, I liked it, but I don't know when I'm ever gonna get back to it. But see, if y'all had let me change it, Don't Look Up would go right here.
Yeah, but you
I
shouldn't
would-
change it. You should
I
just
would-
own it.
If we were picking movies that were the biggest disappointment of 2021,
Yeah.
I would be right there with you. Yes.
it's
I had such high expectations for this movie.
And walking out, I was the only motherfucker that liked it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's true.
I like Spring Breakers though.
Yeah, fuck that movie as well. All right, so you ready? You ready
All
for
right,
this?
see.
My number 8?
Yeah.
Zach's going to be like, fuck you. My number 8 is Red Rocket.
Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you.
So, Red Rocket is
The
director...
fuck do you have your rest of your list?
This is Sean Baker. Sean Baker's latest movie. Sean Baker previously did The Florida Project, which was on my top 10 list. I don't remember if it was on anybody else's, but it was definitely on mine.
I didn't see it till
Yeah,
a long time later.
I saw that at the Bill Court and I loved it. So Red Rocket tells the story of a ex-porn actor who goes back to his small town where he's from to mooch off his wife and figure out what his next step is in life, really. And
He didn't necessarily mooch.
he goes to mooch. He's like, "Can I just move in?"
Well, he offers to pay.
Yeah, he offers to pay before he has any fucking money.
Yeah.
That's mooching.
Yeah.
You know, so the thing about Sean Baker, though, you kind of got to know his style going in, because the first thing Sean Baker does is he does a little bit of like what Steven Soderbergh likes to do with a less artsy approach. You know, Soderbergh is very art house. Sean Baker is a matter of fact filmmaker. But what he does like Soderbergh is he gets people who fit the environment he wants to shoot in. He doesn't get actors for actors. He gets the right person for the right space. And funny enough, the guy who plays the ex-porn actor is named Simon Rex. And guess what? He was an ex-porn actor.
I mean, he did solo masturbation videos.
Still porn movies.
Speaking of which,
And then also
just
Suzanne Son is the other primary, like, noticeable, like, everybody in this is, well, not everybody. Okay, there's a reason this is at number 8, and we'll get to that in a second.
I now know what his dick looks like.
Suzanne Son is somebody who he just liked her look. I read a creepy story with her. She's like outside a theater in LA. He walks up to her and he's like, I like your look. Did you, were you interested in being in film? And she was a musician, right? So he gave her a business card with his email address. And 2 years later, she auditions for this movie. Had never done anything before. She's a musician, which is proven out later in this movie. Mm-hmm. There's a performance in this movie that is a riff on her own performances on Instagram, and that's why she got the job. Yeah, and she's so fucking good.
Everyone in this film is very good, and
that's not true.
Well,
there's a reason. Okay, to get to the reasons. So I don't want to talk anymore about the story because we're the only two who've seen it, and I don't want to spoil it. We can't spoil the story.
God, it's so
but
good.
It's so good. It's so good. But
who knows? You might see this later in a list or two.
The reason it's where it is because there's a few people, like none of these people are actors, and there's a few people you can fucking tell. You can tell.
One person.
The old lady is not that good. She's sometimes really good, and then other times not that good.
I mean, let me just say, this is like this year's Uncut Gems.
Yeah, except not as well made, not as well.
What I mean is, there are sequences in this film to where you're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, you feel like you're in the room with them, and it's a little anxiety driving. But this movie can go from charming to revolting, and sometimes from one scene to the next. Characters can go from charming and funny to fuck you. Infuriating.
Yes.
And it's so good. It's so fucking good. The Florida Project is still a better movie.
Tangerine is probably his best that I've seen.
But the Florida Project had Willem Dafoe in it, and he was fucking great in that movie. But this movie is awesome, and this movie does, I think I was the one who caught it first this time, continues his using a cell phone to grab a couple of shots. And I didn't realize it for sure, but I was asking you, I'm like, why did this shot look weird? And it turns out that was the cell phone shot.
I will say there's like a sequence, not a sequence, but a scene or two. I question if it was like, it borderlined on documentary feeling. There's a scene where he goes to a garage sale and picks up some stuff, and it feels too real.
It does. It feels like they saw something cool.
They saw something on the side of the road, and they went, let's just go film.
Yeah, if that was set up, that was some great production design.
Like, holy shit.
That said, I think I didn't love the cinematography as much as you did. Because for me, a lot of times the shots are either a little too high or a little too low. Like,
I had no issues with that.
Why you got to be chopping people's heads off all the time? Really? Why you always got to chop everybody's head off?
To be fair. Okay, we went to, I wouldn't say the best theater to see this.
Yeah,
Number one. We had a great audience.
We did have a great audience. There are times where you get an emotional reaction, and we got it like our entire audience did.
And number two, we probably saw it in the worst fucking theater.
Yeah, because there was a burn in the
There was a burn on the bowl. There was shit on the screen. For all I know, it wasn't lined up correctly.
I felt like we were in a grindhouse theater.
I'm like, where's the stains?
Yeah.
I think we should probably move along because it's 8:00 and we haven't even gotten to
Oh darn!
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
Who knows? We might be talking about this more.
All right, so let's go to number 7.
So my number 7.
Here we go. Wait, I can't see what she's doing. What is she
doing?
Ghostbusters. You got that Ghostbusters Lego, damn you.
Mine is Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was campy enough. It had all my favorite, it had really good, fan nods to it. It was definitely made with fan love. And McKenna Grace, holy shit. I am in love with her. She's fantastic. This one, I know Zach had some issues with it. But he can suck it.
I mean,
Malignant.
You see it. You gotta see it, man.
But no, this is it picks up a really good story. the reason it's so low on my list is entirely what they did with say that louder.
Harold Ramis.
Thank you.
I was trying to feed you the line.
I can't hear because I have big muffins on my ears. But yeah, like if they had just left his hands, but no, they had a CG
The whole thing. Yeah.
a dead man into a film. I don't know. That to me felt a little overkill. But yeah, no, I 100. The person who they got to play Gozer, like nailed the aesthetic 1,000%. I love this film. So
I think there was Olivia Wilde in an uncredited role. I think I read that somewhere.
Oh yeah?
I don't think that's the case.
I
Wow.
could be wrong. It's the internet.
My score for the movie fell right between Tina's and Nico's. Like, I really liked it. Not as good as Tina, but I liked it better than Nico. I think based on our number scores, we were really close.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you everything you said, except your complaint, and I know Zach had a complaint too. And Nico, you might have, about how they handled Harold Ramis. I don't know. I felt like
that was one of my complaints.
Yeah.
I felt like
shit. Olivia Wilde actually is Gozer.
See?
Holy fuck.
That's what you get. That's what you get. I felt like it was a nice tribute.
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue with it. I like this movie. You want a hot take, Zach? Not on my list.
Okay, you want a hotter take?
Not on my list.
Fucking hated this movie.
Well, you did not hate it when we saw it. You're just being an ass.
Well, after time has passed, I'm like, fuck this movie.
I'll be picking this movie up and revisiting it. I'm with you, Tina.
Yeah.
Come over here. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
All right, Nico.
I want to watch it.
All right.
Come over. We'll watch it.
If you want like a film that just rips off the entire third act of a film, I recommend Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
I like this better than that. Hot take.
All right.
Hey, Nico, what's your number 7?
That's a hot take.
Yeah, my
All right,
number
Nico.
7 is another documentary, Val.
Shit, I need to see
Val
this.
Kilmer documentary.
That was on my list. I didn't get a chance to see it.
It is really good. It covers Val Kilmer's entire career. For anyone who doesn't know, Val Kilmer, the actor, the star, had throat cancer starting back in 2015. He had to have surgery, and it's basically taken away his ability to speak normally. He had to have a procedure, so he has a valve in his throat to breathe. If he wants to talk, he has to press down and talk, and it sounds like somebody who's been smoking for like 200 years. Like this kind of thing. So it's really difficult to hear him. This is
rude.
well, I just wanted to get the point across. This is the one I was talking about that handles the whole the person can't talk anymore, so let's have somebody else do the words better.
I was wondering what that is.
It's better.
Yeah. So what the movie does is Val Kilmer wrote all of the narration. It's all his point of view, but his son Jack is the one reading all of it. And the movie opens up pretty early on with showing his son Jack go into a recording studio, and he puts the script down and he says, "I am Val Kilmer," and all this stuff. And there are bits where you forget because he sounds so close to his dad.
That's amazing. That makes so much more sense.
It works really well. And it's a fascinating story about a fascinating actor who's gone through all this stuff, gone through all this stardom and all these big roles that have not necessarily always been good for him in his life, and how that's worked out. And then what he had to go through with his inability to speak as well as he used to. So it's a really good movie. If you like Val Kilmer at all, I recommend checking it out. It's on Amazon Prime.
See, I'm annoyed that I haven't looked at this movie because I hear such good things, but I just am not that big into that kind of biopic, so I just haven't gotten to it. But I'm a little annoyed now because it would probably be on my list too. All right. Nathan?
My number 7 is the only movie on my list that I saw in theaters. And the experience was amazing. And this is better. Well, this is number 2 to the original. It is the Forever Purge. And
you got any more bourbon?
Too much more time on this, except for I love the social commentary against Texas. I love the witty social political stuff they threw in that was relatable to the previous election and all that jazz. And yeah, so that's my number 7.
So Nathan and I saw this movie together, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a good fucking time. It was a good time. And I can't say shit because I had the 4K right there. I already bought it. Because
That's Malignant, by the way. It's a good fucking time.
well, this movie says "fuck you, Texas," and I have really enjoyed that. Like, if you're from Texas, I'm sorry, The Purge hates you because they really ripped the new butthole of Texas in that movie. I'm with you, buddy. It's not on my top 10, but damn, it was fun.
It was purely something I could watch over and over again and find enjoyment in, and it flashes me back to a great memory with a great friend or a group of friends. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, but I get shit for Malignant.
But
yeah,
at least
because you
but-
talked shit about it the entire year.
Yeah, 'cause you
whereas
hated on
Nathan
it for
and
a
them were
year.
always like,
A
it was fun
year?
watching the
Since it
Purge.
came out, you have hated on that movie. That's
Yeah.
why you get shit on it.
It's great.
And Nathan, that gets back to my whole point about the theatrical experience, because we had a good time that day and we laughed in that theater at that movie.
Well, and
It's a good one.
we walked out pleasantly surprised because we really
Yeah.
expected to walk in being like, oh, another crappy Purge movie, but this is what we do around 4th of July.
Yep,
But
that's
literally,
right.
It is the next best Purge movie from the original.
It's the second best.
Yeah.
And the only reason it's the second best is because I love Lena Headey. I love
Yep.
her.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Good choices. Zach?
All right. What are we on? 6?
7.
No.
Seven. Sorry. Number 7 is a little film I went and saw. It is Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. This is the most Wes Anderson film Wes Anderson has ever Wes Andersoned. And
God.
what?
Just put on the whole French outfit. Go smoke, get a cigarette, everything. Just
This
your
is
whole
the-
fucking list.
Look, this is. I got my beret. I got my French.
Just get your
bread.
beret, get your cafe latte and your fucking cigarette, and go sit in front of a cafe.
Look, this is the end of my French period here. But no, this is a really enjoyable film. I am curious how well it does holding up on a second viewing. But that's the problem, is this is a film made for the big screen, and I'm actually kind of worried how it would play on like a TV.
As you should be. We'll find out when Criterion puts out that.
Yeah, I will wait for the Criterion. But no, this is just a good, fun, happy, warm time. But like with most other Wes Anderson films, I'm just curious how I'm going to place it in the future. That's why I have it kind of middling on my list. Walking out, I just was so happy. But you come down off of that, like with Licorice Pizza, to where you go,
I walked out of Licorice Pizza with a whole different attitude.
Yeah, but that's it for me. Is you let it sit and gestate a little, and you go, I enjoyed it. However, how much of that was just because it's a pleasant film, and damn, I was hungry, and the last story in that film dealt with food, and it was the best looking food.
I think that was one of my problems with that film. The film is beautiful, but I think it works better as an art piece than it does a film.
Every single fucking frame of
just
that
put
movie.
it on. Like, there's some match cuts and some production design situations that it's almost hard to believe they were practical, even though we know they were, because they're just so like perfectly done. But also, it's an anthology, and all stories are not equal.
No.
One of the stories I didn't care for,
Which is interesting, because the story you didn't care for, I liked, but the story I didn't care for, you liked.
And then I also had an issue with one of them because he went so art focused on the subtitles that they were impossible to fucking read a few times.
Again,
it's like,
that is an issue
I
to
don't know
where
what's happening. I don't know what's
that's
happening.
an issue to where if you have a small screen, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And if you have a reading issue to where the subtitles are supposed to be at the bottom of the screen, and you
they're
put
not.
a bunch of them at the top third and then the lower third,
Let's
it's
put
like,
an entire
fuck.
paragraph in the top left corner, and let's do it in cursive too, because fuck you.
I mean, good thing is I was able to read it, but if
There was like 3-4 minutes of subtitles at one point in that movie. I had no clue what was happening.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, I do recommend this film. It's very, if you're looking for like a warm, fluffy blanket.
He has done like 6 films that are better than this one, though.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
All right.
Too bad he didn't put those 6 other films out in the year 2021.
It is too bad.
Because we waited 2 fucking years for this movie.
We sure did. We're going to get to a situation like that in a minute. Tina?
You're number 7, Steven.
Yeah, you're number 7.
Oh, yeah. I got to
Oh,
do it.
fuck it,
I was
skip
fully
it.
about to go in.
She was fully about to go. I'm glad you said that. All right. My number 7 is a little documentary that I've foisted on the rest of you called The First Wave.
Oh, shit.
Mm.
All right.
That might
Directed
show
by
Yeah, you might see that later on.
Matthew Henneman is the director. I'm going to straight up tell you, the only reason it is at number 7 on my list is because it just gutted me so hard. You know, the one, when I'm looking at the different reasons that things make my top 10, rewatchability is one. And I don't know, it's going to be a while before I can revisit this movie again.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of,
Yeah.
The first 20 minutes of that movie, I actually had to, first 7 minutes of the movie, I had to pause.
I warned you.
and go get a towel to dab my tears.
I
was like,
almost
holy
stepped away
shit.
from the movie. So The First Wave is a
Yeah.
documentary about the first 4 months of pandemic shown through the eyes of essential workers in a emergency room in
New York.
New York City.
Mhm.
And the first, I'm going to spoil this movie a little bit because what you say about it doesn't impact what you're going to see. Is
Spoilers,
the first thing
spoilers.
you see is somebody dies. Somebody just dies right there on camera.
But it's
And
not
if-
that just die.
It's
They're saying fucking goodbye to their family on the phone,
Yeah.
saying, I'll see you soon. I love you.
Mhm.
And then a minute later, they're
Gone.
dead.
There's one guy, they're like, we just need to take him off the oxygen and see how he's going to do. And he just gone right there on camera. And I think of this as a filmmaker, and that would have been devastating. One, you're scared shitless to be in the room with all these sick people, and they're just literally fucking dying all around you.
Yeah,
that's,
well,
that's the surprising thing too, because you have this is, like you said, the first 4 months of the pandemic. No one knows anything about
Yeah.
COVID really at this point.
Yeah.
Those filmmakers are in the middle of the hospital with scared shitless, just like all the nursing staff and the doctor staff too, because they don't know what's going to happen. They easily could have got COVID. It really got messed up pre-vaccines and everything.
Mhm.
And it's just it'll I'll talk more.
yeah, we'll talk a lot more about this later on.
And the thing is too, is it's one of those over the shoulder, you're running with EMTs, you've got to be ready to go at a moment's notice, but at the same, and they do all that, but at the same time, the filmmakers take moments to get some stunning shots, some beautiful shots. There's one particular guy who's covered in it, an African-American guy, and there's sometimes you think he is gonna die. And I'm not gonna
He's
spoil
going to die right now here on camera with them rolling. It's
and
just
I'm
like,
not going to
whoa.
say how it goes one way or the other. I'll leave it to you to watch the movie. But there's a shot where he's trying so hard to open one eye. And they get that shot, and this looks like cinema. This doesn't look like a fucking video. They've got the beautiful shot. And I'm scared the whole time he's going to die right there because I know they worked. It probably took them 10 minutes to get that shot exactly right. And it could have happened right there. And then how do you feel? You know? This movie has the one thing also that I appreciated is it just tells those first 4 months. At the end of those 4 months, there's not 3 pages of text with, stats and all that stuff. This is not about that. This is not about the pandemic. This is about this moment in time. And it does it so beautifully. And, I've shed a tear in a lot of movies. I can be, emotionally impacted. But I shed a shit ton of tears in this one. Literally to the point where I watched it and I couldn't sleep. I think I text you guys at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, I cannot sleep. Because I wanted you to wake up and see my message. I'm like, you got to watch
we
this
did.
shit.
And I turned to Nico like, what the fuck is he doing texting us at 3 a.m.?
Because I figure you'll see it in the next morning,
Like after we watched it, I got in our group chat and it's like, fuck you, Steven, for making
So there's a moment that I have to talk about in this movie. Zach didn't even mention it, But
I
I feel
mentioned it when you brought it up.
I feel like of anybody, Tina, you might have connected with this a little bit too. But this actually encompasses a little bit of BLM, right? Of the Black Lives Matter.
We're
When the
going to
march
talk
happened.
more about this later on as well. So,
all right, well then let me save that moment for when it comes up again. I'll just leave it here. Say, watch this movie. It would be really much higher on my list if I could rewatch it right away, but I fucking can't do it. I don't think my mental capabilities will allow me to watch this movie again for probably another year or so.
All right, so now we're on to this number 6.
I'm gonna get so much shit for this movie.
Probably.
Here we go.
My number 6 is Fear Street 1666.
I love.
Okay. So what's your real number 6?
Fear Street 1666.
I want to know. I want to know why it's specifically that one.
I didn't mean for it to be number 6,
Yes,
but foreshadowing, it's my second favorite of the Fear Street movie.
And I get shit for like Malignant and Green Knight.
Yeah, but you're
Because
supposed to
you
be
talk
artsy.
shit on
Artsy.
some.
So,
I don't have any comments on this because I haven't seen it.
let me
I
break
just
it down
am
for you.
aware.
It is entirely
They're
a
Netflix movies.
teenage kiddie horror movie series. Okay, yes.
Okay, I'm fine with
However,
that.
I grew up reading Goosebumps. I grew up reading Fear Street. So yes, if I can watch these movies in the comfort of my grown-ass adult living room, eating Skittles and popcorn and watching things that I've read come alive on screen, fuck yeah. That, and I thought 1666 was done very well. It takes place in the year 1666. It wraps up.
And then it was number 6.
And it was number 6.
Can't say that worked.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Tina,
That's-
I highly enjoyed the series of movies.
Yeah.
And 1666, especially with how they did with all the actors, they all did an amazing job. They did an amazing job.
It was very much I'm not going to say kid friendly, but younger audience friendly.
Horror.
Like the
Yeah, they're literally low PG ratings.
Those
on
kind of
those.
time
It
period.
is a PG.
Yeah.
Vovich.
It's for TV, so what is it, like TV 14 or some shit like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
It's like MA 4, something
And
like that.
I'm sorry, we got to get them introduced somehow. Like, not everybody can be as cool as me and start off watching like almost porn horror, pretty much. Like,
Same with
No?
me. Same with me. But I also appreciated Goosebumps and stuff like that growing up. So I agree with you. They got to start somewhere.
I
Yeah.
mean, wait. Fear Street's rated R.
Is it? Is it?
No.
Did it even get like an MPAA rating?
It's rated fucking R.
Okay.
That's in there.
All right. I mean,
The whole series is rated R.
I
I mean,
just
they do
didn't
have
have-
some scenes that, are pretty. There's one scene in a movie that you'll see later on in my list that still icks me out. So, like, ugh.
I didn't have the nostalgia contact with it, and also like I'll admit I think it's probably a little unfair, but I just don't give time to Netflix. When I did give time to The First Wave, which is on Hulu, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear it's good.
I will say you will need to
Oh, wait,
watch.
wait.
You
No, go
will
ahead.
need to watch 1994, 1983, and 1963.
It is a series.
Yeah,
It's
16.
a
Oh, so they're
trilogy.
all connected. I thought they were
They
separate.
are.
It's 3
Yeah.
films all connected.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's like a trilogy.
okay. I thought they were all separate things.
but
Yeah.
in my opinion, 1666 gives the best payoff for the end.
It wraps
Okay.
the story up really well.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I
Okay.
hope so.
All right.
All right. So my number 6, Steven, guess what? We're back. It's The First Wave.
Yes!
is-
Valid
So
selection,
So is this
sir.
the second wave?
it's the second wave of The First Wave.
It's the second wave of The First Wave.
I completely concur. And this is not a movie I could rewatch again anytime soon. It is painful. As it should be. I will say I am curious how the Cuomo bits are gonna hold up in history.
Okay, I'm gonna have.
But that's what I liked about it.
I want to have a hot take about the Cuomo bits.
Yeah.
Cuomo is getting what he deserves right now.
100%.
And he should be prosecuted. He should be for what he's done. And I think he will be. At the same time, he did a lot of things right in New York City when a lot of us, including what's happening in Tennessee, wasn't being done right. So I don't know. It makes my contact with him or my feeling with him complicated.
It is, and I think that's an added layer of the movie, and I don't know what it's going to do for the movie going forward, but it's definitely a fascinating aspect of it, having
totally
lived through those first 4 months, and then now the downfall of the Cuomo dynasty. But it is such a powerful movie that I think it behooves everyone of this has had to live through the last 2 years to kind of step back and revisit what this was really like in the beginning.
Yeah, because
I have to say,
desensitized to it.
Yeah,
I do have to say that I really appreciated the fact this movie hit me so hard. I really appreciated the fact that you guys watched it. That all you guys took Nathan, I don't think you've seen it, but you guys took the time to look at it, because I was like, holy shit! You don't get documentaries that are like literal historical documents, which is what this is. It's a historical document of what happened.
I think I kind of surprised Tina on it because I just decided to start watching.
Yes, he gave me no time to prep myself. 5 minutes into it, I'm sobbing. He's like, "Do we need to save this for another time?" I'm like, "Fuck you, bitch! Keep going."
I mean, the spoilers. There's a sequence in there where the head of the whole ER calls a family and says he's doing better. He's doing better.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be okay. Right after that, he fucking dies.
Yeah.
It devastated me. That sequence.
Well, what hurts is you hear
she breaks. She snaps. The doctor.
Which you're going to hear more about that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What were we going to say?
I mean, you hear the family screaming on the other end of the phone.
Yeah. It's woof.
All right, let's go ahead and go to Nathan, since we'll hit this movie again later.
We'll get this one later. Yep.
Yeah.
My number 6, and we've talked about it, is Encanto.
We don't talk about Kanto. No.
But we do.
All right.
Totally.
Loved. First off, y'all know I'm such a huge Disney person. Actually, most of my list probably is Disney.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's your jam. So it's not surprising.
I was so pleasantly surprised of how catchy the songs were going to be. Like, and it's 3 or 4 songs that I'm like constantly singing. The family dynamics it tells, there's so many details within that you really start to pick up on the further you go on, and like, oh, that's why, or this, or it's just such a good thought out movie. Now, did it end a little too sugar and sweet? Absolutely. But it is a Disney movie, so it doesn't bother me to an extent as some people. But
quick aside, you guys, Kiara is in the chat room if you guys want to speak with her. She's been messaging all along. I've been responding to her. You know what's funny is
we can all agree the last 5 minutes of this film is just fucking trash.
Zach got so mad.
It's not.
No,
trash.
he said no. It's not. Okay, so he doesn't hate it as badly as you do.
I don't hate it.
I
I just expected for a Disney film to end up as like a happily ever after. I mean, that's what you get with Disney.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. There's no other
stakes in this.
There's no other way for it to end. What's sad is I probably will never see it, and I intended. I kept trying to work out times to see it in the theater, and I would have seen that. I tried to see it along with House of Gucci, and it just didn't work out. I probably won't take the time to watch it on Disney Plus, and that is, depending on who I ask, is maybe a good thing or a bad thing.
It's okay. What I'll do is I'll sneak into your house, play the movie while you're sleeping, and put earbuds in. That way the songs can get stuck in your head, and you don't even know why they're in your head. Well,
sometimes I fall asleep with these earbuds in now, so you're good to go. Just turn on Bluetooth.
I'm just going to sneak in and replace one of the video files you have for 12 hours of terror.
Well, honestly,
God
if you just make those homemade sausage balls that you make and come over here, I'll just play it.
Oh my God, yes, I want some sausage balls right
Yes.
now. All right, moving on.
Zach, number 6.
Number 6 for me. Well, that's Roadrunner.
All right. Well, I mean, we've talked a lot about it. What do you have
Yeah.
to say that you haven't hit on?
I mean, it was the one documentary I think I saw in a theater.
Not true, sir.
What was the other one?
You are forgetting.
Oh, fuck, the cave one.
No, you
Oh.
saw that one, but you're forgetting one before that would be in my top 15, maybe 17. Street Gang,
Oh yeah,
the Sesame Street movie.
yeah, that's in my like top 15.
Yeah, it would be in the top 15. But yeah, Roadrunner.
But no, this is a film that actually made me interested in Anthony Bourdain. I did read the book after seeing this.
That's right, you did.
Like you came home to HBO Max. It's like, yeah, I want to see.
I'm like, click, let's watch, baby.
And just being real, his segment on when he first visited Japan is like the best part of that book.
Yeah.
And they feature that in the film. But god damn, that chapter is so fucking good.
Yeah, it's a great book. I mean, I think really that book, they should package that book in the Blu-ray of this movie in a
That'd
set.
be cool.
That would be
Yeah,
insane.
I would buy that in a hot second. It's so good.
But yeah, this, I mean, one, it was a good day at the theater, but two, I mean, I really did enjoy this film. Too bad the third film that we saw that day did not live
I
up.
forgot. What all did we see?
We saw Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
That's right.
Then we
film.
saw Roadrunner.
Yep.
And then we saw Days.
Oh,
And Days is Simon Lang film.
boy.
And y'all
All right, let's move on. This is a whole other
No,
subject.
yeah, let's move on. We got
imagine
more
the
movies.
slowest film you've ever seen. It's not slow enough.
Yeah. All right, so my number 6, Zach's going to be thrilled to hear this.
Okay.
My number 6 is Spencer.
Okay.
Directed by Pablo Larraín, who also did Jackie. I don't know, that's probably his most notable film, also a biopic starring Kristen Stewart. So here's the thing, and the reason that this movie ranks so high for me is this movie literally ticks all the boxes of Steven doesn't give a fuck. One, it has Kristen Stewart, who I normally don't like, even though she did a few art house movies early in her career that I thought were okay.
Clouds of Sils Maria.
Yeah, but pre-Breaking
Personal
Dawn.
Shopper.
Yeah. But
What,
it's
Zafiro didn't do it for you?
no, it's an actress I don't really care for. So also I know a little bit about Princess Diana because I did grow up in this country with people who were addicted to all that stuff.
Dude, I was like 5.
It doesn't matter. So I had no interest in Princess Diana. Like, I know generally I know the good that she did and all that, but I just didn't care, right? So that's a couple of things against it. But I had a space where I needed to fill a couple of hours between movies. So I'm like, let's go. And I go into this movie, and Kristen Stewart, an actress I don't like, gave just about the best performance I saw this year.
Yeah.
The sequence that Zach went to take a piss during.
I didn't know.
So
How
her
was I
character.
supposed to know?
So the story follows her character on the last weekend of her relationship as it stood with her part of the royal family is ending right now. Fucking
Like
ending
the
right
week
there.
after she filed for divorce. Yeah.
Exactly. But what's fascinating about this movie to me is it really shows the addiction that the royal family has to tradition. So much so that they're doing stuff that, like, traditions for Christmas that are 100 years old or more. You have to come in to the Christmas gathering and be weighed. And then you're weighed again at the end of the gathering. If you haven't gained 3 pounds, then you didn't have a good time. That's the tradition, you know? And I guess in an era when food was more scarce, that made some kind of weird sense. But you're doing this to a person who has an eating disorder already. And that is portrayed in some really fun, surreal, bizarre, like, ways. And that's when the film, like, started to define itself to me. It's like, oh, this is not a biopic. I was so thankful. I'm like, is this going to be a biopic in the history of Princess
That's what
Diana?
I thought it would be.
And it wasn't, and I was so thankful. It's literally this one weekend of this character. This had some of the most beautiful cinematography of the year, period.
Absolutely.
There's a sequence of her running across a big field that it sounds like a nothing scene, and it is in a way, but it's made special and made beautiful, and I could watch that scene over and over again. Zach, I hope you watched it, because from now on you're going to hear, I want this. when we do a movie.
God
I'm like,
damn it.
I want that scene. Can you do that? Get the gimbal. Let's go.
Well, just tell me you want that scene. I can rewatch that scene, and then it's like when we were like, I want Devil's Rejects, so I rewatched Devil's Rejects
Exactly.
right before.
Yeah. So Kristen Stewart, though, she's playing very sort of this pent up character, like through the entire movie, except this one scene that Zach went to pee during, and she opens up and becomes a mom in that scene. And she becomes a mom who's doing a British accent very well, by the way. And then on top of that, she starts playing this drill sergeant role. And on top of that, it's ad-libbed. I was like, this is a tour de force. I'm like, I came out of that movie thrilled. I was like, fuck, I just saw something amazing. I mean, this could literally have been in my top 2 or 3, and it would have been fine. I just love it that much.
That's what surprises me is that you have it so low.
Well, this was a good
It's not
year.
even in your top 5.
This is a good year for film, sir. There you
How
go.
about that?
Speaking of,
All right,
let's
moving
get
on.
into the top 5s.
All right.
Yeah, let's
My
do
number
it.
5 to carry over is Fear Street. It is Fear Street 1978.
Is that the second one? No,
That
that's
is the second one.
Oh,
It's the second one. The first one's 1994. It was the weakest of the 3. This one had so much campiness.
Because it
It's
takes place during a
basically
camp.
it's your camp horror. It's your camp slasher movie, and I think it did a great job encompassing that feeling. So,
Absolutely did. Absolutely.
like 100%, that is my favorite. Plus, like each character holds their own. Like each character has its own different, flaws and stuff. And some of the characters, you just want to take them by their fucking hair and just slam against the wall. But there's this one point where they have to crawl up through a toilet stinking with poo,
Oh,
and I'm just
God,
like,
I
but yeah.
All right.
So is this like a same family or same characters reincarnated, or how does it connect?
It follows the curse.
It follows a curse, but
yeah, it
the
follows the curse.
actors play different characters. It's like the same actors playing different characters throughout the 3 movies, and same characters.
I was about to say not so, like the first one deals with the 1994 crew, and some of the 1994 crew they play different roles in the 1666 one.
Yep.
So let me ask you this: Do you have some extra attachment to this from the books?
No, not really.
No, Nico, did you watch these?
Yeah, I watched them. They're perfectly serviceable, like campy.
Okay, I'm out. Peace out.
The thing
I
about
watched them and I
the
love them.
Goosebump Fear Street books, this story isn't in the Fear Street books. It has
Okay.
amalgamation of different ideas and plot holes that you could see scattered throughout multiple Fear Street books, but you don't get to read Fear Street 1666. That story doesn't exist for the book version.
And
So-
we do have to preface, like, the whole movie doesn't take place in that time. There's like flash back and forth between.
Oh, okay. I thought it did. I thought each
Yeah.
movie was in that
It
era.
mostly
And
does.
that's part of why I didn't watch it, because I don't like period pieces that much.
But you got to watch
Okay.
the first one, then watch the second one, then
Well,
watch
I mean,
the
they're
third
all
one.
ultimately period
Yeah.
pieces because the most contemporary one is still 1994.
Yeah.
So the next time I have a free weekend and I feel like just watching something serviceable.
I'll make sausage balls and Rice Krispie
Yeah.
cakes and stuff, and we'll watch the Fear Street.
If you do that, I'm down. I will watch them all.
All right, my
right,
number
Nico?
5. Yep. I needed a pick me up from First Wave, so it's still another documentary that is has a much happier ending. It's The Rescue, which
I
is
saw this.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, the story of the saving the Thailand boys football team that was stuck in a cave after it flooded. So it's the story about how, like, the Thailand Navy SEALs and its in the military, as well as doing a call around the world to get recreational cave divers because they're the most expert people in dealing with this kind of thing. And I thought the documentary was very thrilling. Like, I know how it ends. Like I followed the story
Yeah,
as
it's
it was happening, but it was still very captivating to watch everything happen and unfold, and how they ended up orchestrating the rescue, like finding the children, and then how to actually get them out of the cave, through the water, having to scuba dive and cave dive with them, and all of that was still a very interesting story, and it's uplifting because it's a happy ending at the end, whereas First Wave is not.
Straight up, the only reason I did not watch this is because Zach saw it first, and he forewarned me about how shitty the subtitles are.
No.
Yeah.
No. That is not the only reason.
No, wait. That is why I haven't watched it now. The main reason I didn't watch it is because we went to get tickets, and I waited too long, and it sold out.
Oh, no.
See, some people were smart and bought their tickets online the night
But
before.
after that, you were like, yeah, you would have hated that because the subtitles were shit. And
The subtitles were small.
so I'm not going to watch it. It's on Disney Plus right now.
Now,
Yeah.
I'd be curious
Yeah, I
to
don't
see
know
if they
how
fixed that, but they were small in the theater.
I
What
wanted
was
to
your
watch
experience
it.
with them?
I wanted to watch it the other night, but we just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, that seems like something Goldman would watch with you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think they were fine. Yeah, I think the subtitles were fine from what I recall. I watched it on Disney Plus.
All right, I need to look and see if maybe they fix it because, yeah.
I mean, to me, they were small.
Well, if they were small to you, then I'm not going to read them.
No, they weren't small to me. I'm saying for me thinking of you.
Small for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, personally, I would have been like, let's bump this up, a little 2 points.
Gone up 2 sizes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
My number 5 is Black Widow.
I already had a shot.
If I wasn't buzzing really hard right now, I'd make another drink because fuck you.
I mean...
All right, I'm going to say this. I loved Scarlett Johansson and her interaction with her family, and seeing kind of her origin background and how that story progressed. I thought it was a fun movie.
Plus,
and yes,
it's the movie that gave us Yelena Belova.
yes. So, all right, fuck you. Go on to your number 5.
No, wait, let's talk about this.
No.
Anybody else like it?
I mean,
I liked
it's okay.
it. I didn't want to have like my entire list be Marvel movies. 2, I don't know.
It is not my least favorite Marvel movie.
No, it's
of the
not my least
year.
favorite Marvel movie of the year. I will say
Okay, it is not my least favorite Marvel movie of the year. I will give you that.
Is your least
There is
favorite
one.
Colonel?
There are actually 2 that I like a lot less. So there's that. All right, moving on.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
All right, so number 5. We got a wild one here.
Oh, of course we do.
We got a wild fucking movie here. So this is a little film
I'm
by
waiting.
an older director.
Oh God.
Benedetta is my number 5 film.
Oh, Tina, Kiara is asking if you're cold.
I live in this thing now. It is.
So wait.
It lives up to its name of comfy.
Hold the phone. You just said Benedetta.
Yeah,
Continue.
that's my number 5 film.
All right.
Why are we
Because
holding our
fuck
phones?
you.
What?
Continue.
Oh, is this higher up on your list?
You might hear about this movie later.
Oh, okay. So anybody that hadn't seen this, a little word of caution: this film is fucking wild, and it features some very liberal sexual situations. So don't show this one with the kids.
Yeah, no.
But this is
I've seen
a fascinating film based on fucking true events.
Based on true events.
Yes. And it's about this nun sister.
Yeah, a nun. She's a nun.
A nun.
Yeah.
And
They're in a convent. Everybody's a nun.
basically the question of if, not religious events, but like miracle-esque events start happening.
Get it out, girl.
Surrounding her and her ascent to power, essentially in France during like the bubonic plague.
Yeah, because she becomes worshipped.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a film that, I heard was wild. Holy fuck, it's fucking
Yeah,
wild.
we usually get
Like-
stuff at our art house theater oversold to us, but not this one.
It was
Wild like climax.
wilder.
No, dude.
Wild.
No. There is a point that is so uncomfortable.
There is a
in that
point
film
I'm like, what's this movie rated?
because
it's not
I'm watching
rated.
this movie and I'm thinking, is this a porn? And I am reacting to it in that way.
I mean,
and I look over and Zach is curled up in the corner trying to cover up his.
there's a few moments where I had to do the bend, the leg bend.
But what's fascinating about that
Don't
is you
get it.
have those. But wait, it's thoughtful. This movie has a lot to say about
Religion.
and worshiping,
Okay.
like worshiping people inappropriately. But the biggest part is it questions everything. Like it questions everything related to religion. It's just fascinating. It's a really good story. It really is. I mean, I know we hype up some parts of the craziness, but
yeah, but I mean, it's mainly just to go in knowing what you're fucking gonna see.
understand it's crazy.
But I mean, Verhoeven, coming.
This is
back.
the director of RoboCop and Basic Instinct and
Showgirls.
and he's bringing it all.
So
into
we
this
may be
movie.
talking about this a little bit later, right?
Yeah.
We might be.
Yeah, we might
Okay.
be.
Yeah.
That's my number 5.
All right.
And my number 5 to number 1 is like, oh boy, let me tell you, you guys see this shit.
You need to.
All right. Steven?
You need to eat shit with that. All right. So bring my list back up. My number 5 is Saint Maud. It feels like everybody forgot about Saint Maud. Question
I
it,
did.
sir.
It was
Look it up on
Was that
Wikipedia.
2021?
So,
That's a 2019 fucking movie.
here, this is what happened with Saint Maud. Is it came out in film festival in 2019. So it was supposed to be released theatrically in the United States in 2020. We didn't fucking get it. It was supposed. It finally in late 2021 got released in the UK, or in late 2020, and then finally,
oh shit, it is mother.
finally in early 2021, we got it on Epix. If you remember, that's how we watched it across Amazon and Epix here at the house.
Yeah,
That's
it technically
right.
is USA, and that's our rule, by the way.
It has to be
Released in USA.
in USA. Yes. So we didn't get this movie till 2021. I chased this movie for years, wanting to see it.
Man.
And let me tell you,
I'm sorry, the last second clip just flashed through my mind.
The last half second of this movie is literally one of the best.
it's so good. And it's so
It's
funny
so
that we talked about
lit.
Benedetta, and now we're talking about Saint Maud.
What
It's
a great combo.
What a double feature that would be.
Woo.
So Saint Maud is the story of a pious woman who her job is to be a caregiver for older people.
She's
And she becomes upset. What's that?
She's basically a hospice nurse.
Yeah, basically. And she becomes obsessed with saving the soul of one of her patients. And the movie goes kind of batshit crazy when you see the lengths to which she's willing to go to save this woman's soul and also to show her faith. This is a feature directorial debut for this director. This woman. She did short films and stuff like that before this, and this is her feature. So she's another one like the director of Raw. We'll talk about her other stuff at some
Yeah,
point.
who knows? That might be on my list.
Who just comes out of nowhere with a vision like you've never seen before. I am so mad. I mean, pandemic did a lot of things, but it took this theatrical experience from me. And to have seen this movie, as beautiful as it is, in the theater would have been really special.
That would have been.
This is an A24 release. It's out on Blu-ray right now for like $12 damn. I told this to Zach. I have it over here. It's so good. I don't want to spoil too much more of this. Kiara, I know you're watching. This is an edgy movie to watch, but not like, not like First Wave or something. It's fascinating. So you get a fascinating movie that questions everything related to religion without all the sex that's in Benedetta.
So that's good.
Yeah, so highly recommended. Let's watch that. And I can't wait to watch this again with people.
That would be a hell of a double feature.
It would be.
I'm
A hell of
Yeah.
a feature.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about considering that as 2021. That might have.
That would have That might have shaken
Shit.
up my list
That
a
would
little
have
bit
possibly shaken up
if
my
I had
list,
remembered that.
We watched that all together, all of us
Yeah.
here in the media room, because I had anticipated trying to get it because I had hit every press contact I know to try to acquire a copy of it for our 12 Hours of Terror. It didn't work out, so we finally got to watch it. Didn't we do that in Midsommar as a double?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
What a day! What a
That was a
day!
good
All
It
right,
does say 2021 on the
On
back
the box.
of the Blu-ray.
so eat shit. Moving
Number
forward.
4, Tina.
All right. My number 4 is a movie we've talked about. Little Netflix movie that Steven has to watch called Don't Look Up.
Son of a bitch!
This, like I said earlier, this movie ended exactly how I needed it to end so that I could look at all the characters who fucked up during this movie and saying, fuck yeah. That's how I felt. Like having like in the movie, scientists find an asteroid, a comet heading straight for Earth, and they're like, hey, this is going to kill us all. It's going to kill us all. 100% chance of it hitting. We need to do something to like stop it.
I swear to God, I'm gonna watch this movie tonight. Damn it!
And
It's good.
God, so annoyed.
the ridiculousness of how governments and media and like social followings respond, and the divisiveness of the country of it's fake versus it's happening. It's on the nose.
Yeah.
It's so on the nose.
So
and
good.
you get to see a somewhat nude Meryl Streep. So go see it.
Kate
All right,
Blanchett's
fascinating.
Really good.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett.
That's already
is
been
a
spoiled
fucking
online.
chameleon.
Damn it.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
All right, cool.
Because Nico, she was in a scene for like Kate Blanchett was in her first scene for
I
like
was
a
watching
full
it for
5 minutes.
It's like,
And
that's
then
Kate-
finally he goes, "That's Kate Blanchett," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Boy, spoilers, but we might be talking about Kate Blanchett later.
I mean,
I'm just
who
saying.
knows?
Who
I'm not
knows?
surprised.
Continuing.
All right. My number 4 is Dune, Part 1. Dune came out earlier this year. We saw it in IMAX. It was stunning. It was gorgeous. So much sand.
I hate sand.
It's coarse and rough. Irritating.
Oscar Isaac's great. I love him. The sequel's already down in points because he's not going to be in it. But I really loved the scope of Dune. It just looks so good, which makes sense because it's Denis Villeneuve, and it's just I like it.
The sound also to it. The score,
Yes,
I
the
guess you would
sound
call
is
it
good.
score. The sounds, the score, everything, how it was edited, made it even more beautiful.
Everything sounds big. Everything
Yeah.
sounds like it's spacious and epic, which makes sense because it's kind of a space movie.
So, spoiler alert, you ready for this one? Not only is it not on my list, it is not in my honorable mentions.
What the
Wow.
fuck?
And I'm going to tell you that's one reason why.
Sure.
This
Can't hold up on its own.
this movie is not a complete thought. Like, I really thought a lot about this movie. I loved it. I thought it was beautiful, probably the most beautiful movie I've seen this year. I really liked the acting. I love the characters. I love the cinematography. Everything is like perfect, except the fact that everybody says, "Boy, I think I like this even better when I see the second one." Everybody says
story.
it.
It's not a full
It's not a
story.
complete story. You can end on a cliffhanger, Kill Bill, but give me a complete arc, and it didn't. So it's a no-go for me. Completely.
That's fair. I think that's a reasonable point.
All right,
Okay.
moving forward.
Yeah.
All right.
Nathan.
Look, Zach is
number,
destroyed.
my number 4 is Cruella.
Why do you gotta fucking hurt me?
I love you.
What the
My
fuck,
number
Nathan?
I love you.
paid for Disney Premiere Access and shared it with all of y'all.
Thank
For
you
this
for
movie.
Oh my!
I wanted this movie so bad for Film Ball, and some dumbass put it in Wildcard. And
Oh yeah,
I
that's right.
knew before the movie even came out, I was going to love it. And it did not disappoint me one bit. The fashion, Emma Stone was amazing, and like Her acting was wonderful. The origin story of Cruella and just how it played out. Just kill my gay heart.
Sure.
I haven't seen
just
it.
like Cruella kills those puppies.
Eventually.
Oh, I love Emma Stone though. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment one way or the other.
Oh, wait till we
All
get
right.
to my number 3.
Moving
All right.
forward,
Zach?
Zach. I feel like I've destroyed Zach.
No, you haven't destroyed me. The Cruella thing hurt more.
I don't know about that.
So my number 4
Yeah.
is Red Rocket.
Okay. I mean, it's a reasonable argument. I support your number 4. It's very good.
Again, we've talked about it, but this is a film that I've been a fan of Sean Baker ever since Tangerine, and damn, this movie scratched an itch I had. I went through like 4 movies that I'm like, this will probably be on my top 10. Fucking nope. Drive My Car.
Drive My Car was this disappointment.
Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza is straight up pedophilia.
I really
Matrix, I
recommend,
was even hoping.
I really
What did you say?
recommend people follow you guys on Letterboxd, because I would open up Letterboxd to log my movies, and I would see you guys, like, I saw your rating for Licorice Pizza, it's like, oh damn, they were looking forward to that one.
The 35 mil was
That 35
lovely.
mil was beautiful.
Yeah. But you want to talk about pedophilia?
Yeah, fucking
Red Rocket.
hell. Okay, one movie does it well,
And the other
another movie doesn't do it so well.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it to you to figure out which is which. Just watch those
Spoilers,
movies.
you should feel fucking sick after seeing some pedophilic shit.
Yep. But Red Rocket's good. Red Rocket is something to see.
It's a film that, man, I can't wait to revisit.
Same. You know what I would love to do is watch this and Florida Project back to back.
And Tangerine.
I haven't seen Tangerine yet.
You should see it.
I know. All right. So let me switch back over to the list here. All right. So next on my list is the most criminally underwatched fucking movie of this year, The Last Duel. This is the
What, Malignant?
No, The Last Duel, sir. This is Ridley Scott's epic film, and it is epic in its story. Also telling a true story, by the way. It's a true story of the last judicial duel held in France.
So it's Russian mob.
This is in France.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes it
So it's directed by Ridley Scott.
Sorry.
It stars Matt. What?
I couldn't hear you because you didn't have your whole French outfit on.
Right? I need to put it up. Hey, this is a wide release. This
If
was
I
not-
come to podcast next week dressed up like a fucking Frenchman.
Oh God, don't do that. I can't take it. So this has Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ben Affleck, and Jodie Comer. And basically it tells the story of Matt Damon is a war hero. His wife, played by Jodie Comer, accuses Adam Driver's character, who is Matt Damon's character's best friend, of rape. And it tells the story of what led up to the final duel from 3 perspectives. Matt Damon's perspective, Adam Driver's perspective, and Jodie Comer's perspective. And I know a lot of people are concerned because, are they going to have to watch a rape scene? Well, I wonder if every perspective views it as a rape. I wonder. And that's what's fascinating about this story is it talks a lot about the way women were treated in that era, the way things are perceived in that era, and the way bravado is like placed on a pedestal above everything else. It's complicated. It's beautifully acted. Matt Damon's character, his acting, you're either going to love it, I did, or not love it because it's the most over the top that, not Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. It's the most over the top that he's done. Matt Damon is good. Jodie Comer owns this movie. Adam Driver also is very good, as he usually is. Jodie Comer crushes it in this movie. She's so good and different in all 3 stories because it's whose perspective the story is being told from. So she has to perform her character in that manner. You got to see it.
Yeah, but Ridley Scott blamed millennials for his film failing. So as a fuck you to Ridley Scott.
He's not wrong. But it is a long movie. Yeah. I will say it has the the ultra violence. I did not anticipate this movie's violent as fuck.
Hold on. I'm interested now.
It's violent as fuck.
All right.
And a good portion of said violence is practical, and you can tell. It's good. This shit's good. I went in thinking, oh, it's Ridley Scott. It could be bad or it could be good. This is the guy who saw The Last Duel and The House of Gucci in the same year. One of them is fantastic, and the other one is bad good, right? So I had a good time in both. But you've got to see The Last Duel. It's a triumph. It's the best thing he's done since The Martian. 100%. All right, moving on.
All right, we're down to the top 3.
Yes.
This is where it gets hard.
This is where it gets real, baby.
My number 3 movie is one we've talked about before. Disney fanatics will be happy. It is Encanto.
Yeah.
Yes, Encanto.
From everything from Family Madrigal song to Surface Pressure, which I can't listen to without crying because that hits home way too much for me.
Right.
What is it? Two Caterpillars song is beautiful. The orchestra is beautiful. And of course, the earworm that gets stuck in everyone's head, whether they want it to or not, is called We Don't Talk About Bruno. The music's fantastic. There's a game I play on your second, third, fourth, whatever viewing called Find the Bruno, because he's introduced maybe about halfway into the movie as an actual character, but you see him, if you pay attention, you see him in different scenes hiding because that's his whole role.
May it be
I
cool
thought
if
that
like
was
a character who has good hearing could hear him.
She does, though. She says, I can hear
and she
him.
sings about it.
Yes. She's the only one who knows he's still there.
Her lyrics, and it points it out. Like if you watch her verses, she knows he's around.
Because, and we don't talk about Bruno. Everybody's singing about him in the past tense. Dolores is the only person who sings about him in future or in present tense.
Man,
but
what
that, and I love the fact. And I love the fact that the hero is part of the family, right? You're following Maribel and watching her become this hero, but the villain of the story is also part of the family, the abuela villain. And for me, having Disney approach the topic of toxic family members and toxic environments within families, that is what makes it number 3, because I have personally had to deal with that, and that hit real close.
So since we've already said that the grandmother is the villain, I got to tell you a funny story. And she said it. She just said it. Yeah. Okay. I have to tell you a very funny story. So Zach and I are having a conversation with Ada, my girlfriend Ada, who is Spanish. She looked at Zach and said, "It's a Spanish story, so I already know that the grandmother is the villain."
And this was like a week and a half
This was a week ago, yeah.
And I'm like, I haven't seen it, but we'll see. And then I see her today, and I'm like, how the fuck did you know that?
She's like, it's a Spanish story. It's what it is. That's funny.
And I like the little research bits that they do for, like, to go into Colombian cultures. Like each kid's outfits, each character's outfits actually represent a different culture in Colombia. I thought that was a nice touch. And it has the 2 best Disney husband/dads in the entire Disney world.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice to hear. All right, Nico?
All right.
Nico?
My number, this is 3, right?
Yes, 3.
Okay. Starring Nicolas Cage as Wolf, directed by Michael Sarnowski. It is a movie where Nick Cage goes off and lives in the woods. And
are we talking about Pig?
Yep, Pig. Might not
Spoilers.
I didn't hear you say Pig. That's it.
Yeah, Pig. Nick Cage is a truffle farmer with a pig, which is hunting the truffles, and the pig gets kidnapped. He goes back into Portland to try to find it, where we find that he actually used to be this very fancy, well-established restaurateur chef in Portland. It from the trailers, it feels like it's a very John Wick vibe, and when you watch it, you realize it is similar in different ways than you would expect. It's not a badass action movie like John Wick, but in terms of this kind of world building underground culture that you don't typically think of or see, that's totally present in this movie. And I think it does it really well. And I think Nick Cage does a great job. When he's good, he is good, and he's very emoting in this in terms of the emotional reactions he has about the pig. You feel his pain in this movie about both the loss of this animal and then everything else that you find out about the character going through the film. So I think it hits well emotionally, and yeah, it's a good movie.
I think it could be argued. Did you see this, Zach?
No.
Okay, so
I
it could be.
one.
I think it could be argued that, and this is on Hulu if you want to see it.
It's also on Delta Airlines.
Okay, there you go. I think it could be argued that this character, Nicolas Cage's character, I mean, since there's so much comparison to John Wick, I think it could be argued that Nicolas Cage's character is more complex than John Wick is. I like John Wick better as a movie, but he's more complex. He's dealing with a lot more things. He's dealing with loss. He's dealing with humiliation. There's a lot of things in this character's life that he's dealt with in this weird way. Now, I think I told you guys my problem with the movie, and the reason it's not on my list is simply its fear to make a decision about its world building and surrealism. It sits on the fence a little too much because it goes into a batshit crazy space for like 2 scenes, but the rest of it stays more grounded and realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it without being more spoilery, but there's a sequence that this character has to go through that goes very surreal and very very fantasy, what he has to do. But then the rest of it goes back to more of a grounded situation, and it finishes in a very grounded and character-driven human way. But that one scene goes so far out of pocket that it just threw me out for a loop. And it never came back to that level of surrealness. But I do recommend the movie, and I want to revisit it. I want to watch it again knowing that and see if I like it better, because I bet I will. Good choice. I like it.
All right, Nathan.
Y'all got your shots ready?
Oh, God.
My number 3
I feel like Nathan's just trying to...
and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Dude.
You didn't see it. Shut up. You got nothing to say. I saw this shit.
I swear to God, if Eternals is your number 1,
continue.
I will
continue. Sell it to me. I'm with you.
I don't need to sell it to nobody because I enjoyed it so much. I love Awkwafina. I love the comedy humor aspect. I love
them some big words.
The battle with the dad. I love all of it. All of it. I loved that huge battle between the dragon and the monster at the end. Oh my God.
Oh, I love Awkwafina.
Do you?
No. I love her in a...
I like Awkwafina in some things.
What was that movie?
Farewell.
Farewell. She was great in that.
Oh, Tina, Kiara is with you. She supports what you were saying on your film. About
Encanto. So, Zach, what's your number 3?
I just want to say I fucking hated the last 2/3 of Shang-Chi. I only like the first act.
I really wish that they did not have so much Ben Kingsley. Like, I get the joke. I understand him being in there. I honestly rather him, if I had the choice of just cutting him entirely from the movie, I would have done
Agree.
That.
Kill him.
I think
take him out.
It really screws up the movie for me. But
also, why does Awkwafina have to be a superhero?
Also hate that part too.
Why does?
But you're right about the first act. The first act is great.
Yep. First act is great. All right, Zach.
Number 3. So my number 3 is a film I had to drive 150 miles to go and see.
Oh, yeah. The film with no ending.
And
continue.
Full disclosure, the experience of this film heavily weighs upon it. And in the coming years, this film might go down, but this is how I feel right now.
Because I just destroyed you.
Which is the IMAX experience of Dune. If you did not see this movie in IMAX, you saw maybe 60% of this film.
Well, then that's a huge failing of the movie, isn't it?
It was a theatrical experience, sir.
Mm.
No, this is like Dune has been the one property I have fucking tried to read the book.
Yeah,
I
it's
tried.
hard. It's hard to read. I haven't finished it either.
And it's such a like you have to like research it, and there's a whole glossary in the back, and I mean it's a lot.
It exceeds Lord of the Rings in complexity.
And then I even tried watching the David Lynch film, which
is not good, by the way.
Holy shit! Whew.
Yeah, not good. I'm sorry.
And I made it like 20 minutes into that, and I was like, I have no fucking clue what the hell is going on. It's like reading the book all over again. So the fact that they were able to make this property digestible is astonishing. Like, this is Game of Thrones level family trees.
Like season 8?
No, like season 1.
Mm.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno, aka the season 8 of Game of Thrones. And I mean, it's astonishing what they were able to pull off. I mean, I am a huge fan of Denis Villeneuve.
Same.
It was a complete experience. Do I agree with you that the film
was it a complete experience?
Experience.
Yeah, part of the experience is story.
I didn't say the story.
Story is part of the experience there.
I didn't say the story. But no, I agree with your assessment that the film essentially is incomplete. And that's why I say this might go down in the coming years. Because number one, the fucking Blu-ray does not have any IMAX goddamn aspect ratio.
I'm not buying that.
Fucking bullshit. I'm not buying it, Warner Brothers, until you fucking add it.
Yeah.
And secondly,
agree.
Timothée Chalamet really doesn't come into his own until like the tail end of that film.
Like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's also like the character.
It is.
I get that, but you know, I haven't read the book. I shouldn't have to fucking read the book to understand the movie.
It's not a complete thought.
It's also like Steve said, like it's like Luke Skywalker. It's that
It
character.
is. Like it's the archetype.
This character is not meant to come into their own until a certain point.
But no, I was just blown away by this movie. And let me tell you, an IMAX dual laser in full 1:4:3 to 1.
Okay, moving on.
Woo! It's incredible.
My number 3 was another movie that I saw. After closing credits, I immediately contacted everyone on this podcast and said, go fucking see this movie. Go see this movie. This movie requires...
This is your number 3?
This is my number 3.
Oh, man.
This movie requires you to go to the theater, and that is Nightmare Alley. Directed by Guillermo del Toro. It stars Bradley Cooper. It has Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara. It's got to have Ron Perlman because it's Guillermo del Toro movie. Mary Steenburgen, fucking Mary Steenburgen comes out of nowhere. I haven't seen her in forever, and she's great. This movie, it tells the story basically of Bradley Cooper's character. He's a young guy. He has a troubled home life. And
a sorted past.
Yeah, and he goes and gets a job. He's a shystery kind of guy too. He gets a job at a traveling carnival.
Full stop. Did anyone else see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Everyone's seen it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, except Nathan. I don't think Nathan's seen it.
We're not as diehard.
Not on our list.
Yeah.
But going into this movie, I knew it was going to have unique vision because it's Guillermo del Toro. His movies, like them or not, they are precise in their vision. But going into it, there was so much fucking practical stuff. Like, talking about the opposite of Jungle Cruise. Let's just build the whole carnival and let's make it so, like, real that you can smell the sweat off people. Like, you could look at Bradley Cooper and tell it had been a week since he had a bath, and it was nasty. But his connection with Willem Dafoe coming into that carnival and the story that builds, and then all of a sudden, let's just change it. Let's change it. That's the reason it's number 3, because boy, it hits a wall in the middle, and you got to take a couple of minutes to reset yourself in what you're watching and settle into the second half of that film. I love it, I love it equally as much, but I did not anticipate where it was going to go. And shit, for that reason, it probably should be number one on my list, but it's not. Bradley Cooper is somebody I normally think is fine. I don't have an issue with him. Like a lot of people are like, oh, Bradley Cooper. I think he's fine. But there were a lot of times in this movie, I just literally forgot it was Bradley Cooper. I was just thinking about the character. You know, usually Bradley Cooper has this, it's the Bradley Cooper thing. You know, Bradley Cooper from the A-Team. You know, It's like, oh, I'm doing my thing, my Bradley Cooper thing. But this was him, like, engulfing himself in the role. And then in comes Cate Blanchett, who
is just chewing the fucking
the scenery. Old school, this is like some old school fucking film noir happening with Cate Blanchett. And just owning it. What's that?
I need her office.
And then,
Oh my God, her office is fucking awesome.
It's incredible. Toni Collette doing maybe some of my favorite work. I always liked Toni Collette. I've liked her since the Shyamalan movie where she was the mom. I can't think of the name of it now. Sixth Sense.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was in that?
She's the mom.
Really?
In that movie. Yeah. And then Willem Dafoe is always amazing. But Richard Jenkins is so good.
So fucking
in
good.
this movie. And Rooney Mara is another one of those actresses that I don't not like, but I don't like. She's just forgettable to me. And she steals scenes. Not to the level of Cate Blanchett by any means. But she steals scenes and does a great job. This story, I've refused to even talk about the Mary Steenburgen part. You just need to watch
the what?
The Mary Steenburgen her role in this movie. She's so good. You just got to watch this movie and see it. But this movie is a visual feast. It's unique. I don't want to say anything else. Just go fucking see this movie. So good.
All right. Number 2. My number 2 is First Wave. And
holy shit!
I can tell you the 3 scenes that secured it to number 2 for me. One of the first scenes one scene is when the nurse who had gotten COVID and had to have an emergency C-section got to hold her baby for the first time.
It's beautiful.
I couldn't breathe. I was crying. The second scene that got me was when the nurse breaks on camera after having just told the patient that earlier she had told, hey, yeah, your dad's actually doing pretty well. He's pretty stable, blah, blah, blah. Poof, he's dead. Her breaking scene, because she's sitting there, she's so tired, so fed up with it, so angry. You can feel that anger and that hopelessness. And she, to the point, other nurses come over and scurry her off camera.
Yeah, she wasn't going to stop after she broke until they pulled her off camera. It's incredible.
Because that just hit home how absolutely fucked these people were. And then the scene for me that top scene for me was same nurse who broke. She's at a protest. She's at a Black Lives Matter protest.
I knew it. I knew if anybody else other than me connected with this is going to be you.
Yeah, because during that whole time, the George Floyd thing happened. So there was a lot of Black Lives Matter protests, and she's a Black nurse in New York City. And the point in the protest scene that got me was when this kid, this very young Black kid, is sitting or is talking to the police officers saying, stop.
It was about to escalate.
Yeah.
It was about to escalate.
And she got in between them and the cops, and she wasn't talking to the cops. She ignored the cops. She did not give 2 shits about the cops. She turns to this young Black man and says, I'm tired. She goes, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of seeing kids like you in the emergency room dying. So This reaction right here is why it's number 2.
So that scene, I said this to Zach. I said that scene in and of itself could have been a separate film, because she is trying to de-escalate that kid because he's going to get in trouble. Yeah, he's getting too aggressive with that police officer, and she de-escalates him, and the kid goes out of the scene, and she turns to walk away. And but the part of that got me is when he didn't just hug her; he slammed into her so hard he almost knocked her down. It was, and you could feel that pain, the level of pain that you saw in him in that moment. That's another movie. That's another story. I was like,
it's so
flabbergasted by
too,
it,
because when you're watching, when the movie transitions to that part, you almost forget because you're also wrapped up in the COVID.
Yeah. At the first shot of it, the New York, like the arch thing,
and you see like
all these people, you're like, oh, please don't tell me this is where like the no maskers come in. But then it's like you start seeing,
it's like, oh, when they
George
say
Floyd posters,
like, I forgot this.
And we're like, oh my God, I feel like a horrible person for forgetting that this also happened. At that exact same time.
Well, because they had such laser focus on what was happening inside that ER, but they had to bring it in, because you know what makes that scene so incredible is they show her in her apartment watching the protests and sitting there, and you could just see on her face she wanted to be in it, but she knew better. Yeah. And it finally, I think for me that was another moment when she broke, and she's like, fuck it, I gotta go, I gotta get out there. So she put on her mask and her visor, and she went out and did her thing. And it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, very seldom do we get moments like, and that's why I say this is a historical document, because that's a real moment that you won't get anywhere else.
Yeah, no.
Right? I knew it, and that's why I saved it for when you had this in your list, because I feel like.
Also, shout out to the physical therapist, because he was hilarious.
That dude was amazing. He is the only moments of levity you get in this movie.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Moving on.
My number 2 is Being the Ricardos.
I wanted to see
motherfucker. I'm so mad.
Yep.
Oh.
He watched this without me. I came downstairs and he's wrapping up like the last scene. I'm like,
you son of a bitch.
So I'm a sucker for Aaron Sorkin television, especially when it's about television, like Sports Night. I stuck with The Newsroom well after it got bad. It is Sorkin making a movie about television, one of the biggest television shows of all time, one of the biggest TV stars of all time, during a very big deal week in the creation of the show. It's basically the movie takes place during a week of filming I Love Lucy, during which Lucy is rumors are coming out that she might be a registered communist, which during the McCarthy era, not great. Also, Desi Arnaz, Ricky, maybe cheating on her, maybe not. Also, she's pregnant. And they have to deal with the fact that Lucy might be pregnant and how to breach that. Because at this point, you haven't had a pregnant woman on television. So it's definitely a historic week of television. And it's really well done. Nicole Kidman is great. She is really good as Lucy. She
looks incredible.
Yeah, she looks it, and she's got the mannerisms and the voice, everything down. Javier Bardem's fine as Ricky. I have no problem there. He does really good with singing, doing all the Baba Louie stuff. So that's excellent. So I really enjoyed this movie. It was a good time.
That movie played at the Belcourt for a week. And I was trying to get to see it, and I just couldn't work it out. And so where did you end up watching it?
Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at it because I really wanted to see it. And they're talking about, I think for sure she's going to be Oscar nominated for her acting. Yeah. So I really got to see this. Nathan?
All
right. My number 2 is Don't Look Up.
How do you feel, Steven?
I feel very annoyed.
Walked into this movie expecting it to be one thing and got the huge pleasant surprise of the satire and the casting. There was cast members in it that I did not even expect to be in it. you even get Ariana Grande playing an exaggerated version of a pop star, and she makes up her like this song that is hilarious at a rally, like a yes, look up rally. There's a moment in the movie too where someone looks up and goes, "They fucking lied."
Yeah, because they see the asteroid, and somebody who's in the Don't Look Up camp looks up and goes, "They fucking lied to us."
Yeah. It is so good. And it's not something I ever thought I would see Meryl Streep in, which, like, I know she's so versatile in her acting and stuff, but to see her perform this level of character was such a pleasant, refreshing shock. And then to watch her in the press tours with the cast and like how she talks about it, it's just been, this movie to me was, if the number one movie didn't come out, this would have been my number one.
And I will say, you can tell everyone had a fucking blast.
Oh my gosh. Like, Jennifer Lawrence
so
to me is one of my favorite actresses, but the last few years, her movies have been kind of like one note, kind of the same.
Yeah, I feel like Jennifer Lawrence is a good actress who hasn't picked good roles in a while.
Oh my gosh. Like, her, hang on a minute.
He has the Rona.
Cool, got the Rona.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Meryl, Kate Blanchett. Like, oh my God.
Ron Perlman even has a blast in it.
Like,
all right.
It is such, I've seen it 3 times now. So yeah.
All right.
That's number 2.
Zach?
All right.
Well, my number 2 is Nightmare Alley.
Well, shit.
Well, you're entitled to be wrong.
All right.
Wait, they're saying we're wrong?
No,
Continue.
just you, Zach.
Oh, okay.
Just you.
Well, that's in line with the rest of my fucking list this year. God damn, this movie's fucking great.
And so let me ask you, what did you think when I called you and I basically ordered you? I'm like, bitch,
Well,
go to the theater.
I was curious to see it, but it was kind of like, whatever, I'll get to that when I get to that. And then you went and saw it and you were like, stop whatever the fuck you're doing and you need to go. And I'm like, all right, tomorrow night, let's go. And damn,
Yeah.
every single minute of this movie, Bradley Cooper, like the first half, I'm like, he's too fucking old. And this, what happens later, I'm like, no, he's perfect.
He's the right. He's the right one. Yeah.
God damn, the ending. That fucking ending.
Best ending. Of
Wow.
Best. I will say it's not mine. It's my number 3. Best ending of the year.
I mean,
Apparently they did
because
that on the first
you have
fucking
Saint Maud
take.
on your list.
I know, but damn, the last moment of that movie.
The last like 30 seconds. It's just,
I will admit, because I was not as enthusiastic about the movie as you guys were, but it is a really good ending. Like the ending really does boost
The ending
quality
is
of
the
movie.
stinger. Yeah.
God, when I wanted to get up and scream at the screen, I was like, yes, motherfucker.
dude, like this is one of those films, and it happens so rarely. My number 1 also is in this camp, but it's a film where as you're watching it, you're going, where the fuck is this going next?
Right.
What the hell is going to happen?
I'm with you.
Oh my God. Dude, it's a tragedy. It is a national tragedy that this film just got fucking buried under Spider-Man.
It was released at a really bad time, and it was poorly marketed. And it sucks.
Fuck you, Disney, for that.
Disney fucked
That's
2
not
movies this year.
Disney's fault.
Disney fucked 2 movies, and one of them was this one, and the other one was The Last Duel. They fucked both of those movies. I'm going to handle that as soon as I say my number 2, because we're not going to be here long. The cat is screaming outside the door. My number 2 is Benedetta.
Ah.
Yes, that is my number 2. As it should be, anyone who knows me. It is, I love it for its complexity and character and story. I love it for its aesthetic, the reality of the locations. I love it for the acting. And it's also, an unexploitation film, and I love those.
Yeah. See, that's the funny thing is, Thank you, Ollie.
Yeah.
Typically, I'm not into the whole nun thing. So watching the film, and I'm like, holy shit, that nun be hot.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like we talked about this. When you look at the Google reviews of this, it's either 5 out of 5,
5 stars, or 1 star.
none. And you look at the ones that, you look at the wording, like the descriptions of the 0 stars, and it's so blasphemous. It's blasphemous. And then the 5-star are like commenting on everything we're talking about. It's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. And they
I just gotta say, I'm glad. No, Nathan went back to Spanish. I'm getting motion sick.
What were you going to say?
It's such a long show.
I told you it'd be 3 fucking hours, bitch.
But yeah, I know Zach and I have probably gone a little too far with the grindhouse part of the film, but it's just, Mike went with us, and we were without words for a while, and then we started having a conversation about what the movie's about, and it's fascinating. I can't wait to own this movie and rewatch it. All right, that's all I gotta say.
All right,
Number 1.
Here we go. Number 1. We're actually combining ours.
Me too.
Nathan, if you want to chop in,
Yep.
our number 1, Spider-Man.
You know, it's not on either of our top 10s.
Spoiler alert, not on my list.
That's fine. I don't
That's
care.
fine.
That's okay. Me and Steven will have the same number 1.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Continue.
I really freaking love this Spider-Man movie. It was great. It was what I wanted it to be. It brought together the movie franchises I loved. I love seeing Tobey back. Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe is the star of this top 10 list. I
Yes.
think.
He really is.
Nailed Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, so well in this movie.
The fact that usually when I walk out of the theater, I don't want to see a movie again unless I really, really enjoyed it, because I want time to digest it. And we walked out of that theater and all of us asked each other, because we had the boys, all of us asked, can we go see it again? Let's go see it again. I want to go see it again.
I had problems going to sleep for like 5 days after this movie.
Which means
because
I had problem going to sleep because he wouldn't shut up.
I kept replaying the movie in my head every time I closed my eyes.
I still replay. Yeah. I mean, I sit here and I think about it and I'm like, has there been better Marvel movies? Absolutely. Like the Infinity War, Endgame stuff.
I would say the top Endgame in terms of the quality of the movie.
But
go ahead and disagree with that. Yeah, same. I love Spider-Man.
Not Infinity War. Infinity War is still way better, but
I'm going to say that it does not top either of those two. But
I think it was such a great end of the 3-part that we got, and we spent a whole show talking about it, so I'm not going to talk about it more. I just loved this movie so much that I will watch it over and over again, especially when it hits Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Bam.
And it's very rare that especially a Disney/Marvel film gives fans everything that they want, but this one came damn well close.
And I look back at the list of movies I watched, and it is the one that I just keep thinking on again, which is, to be fair, I think about Spider-Man a lot, so it's kind of got a leg up there, or 8. But yeah, it's stuck with me a lot, even in the couple months it's been since we watched it.
Yeah.
Dang, he is getting loud.
He really is. Will you go and spray him real quick while
we're at number 1?
All right.
Yeah, it's his turn.
So I just wanted to say I thought a lot about this movie because I really, really love it. I really do.
Wait, what's Zach's number 1?
Well,
we haven't gotten there yet.
Hold on.
Zach and I are probably going to combine our number 1.
Yeah, I know what.
Yeah, we are. But this is kind of epic for me because I love Spider-Man 2. He's right there as far as my, favorites of my Marvel superheroes. They ended this Spider-Man in a place where I think Spider-Man belongs, where he wasn't in the first 2 movies. It ticks all the boxes, and it should be on my list. But as I've thought about it more, my score hasn't changed, sir. Don't get excited. My score is the same. But what I will say is, important for me in my list is I like to call out movies that innovate. This movie does not innovate. It follows a very tried and true, Marvel formula that we've had for 10 years. And in a way, that's maybe the negative to it, and maybe why I bumped it from my list is because I think that is a negative impact on the MCU in general, because the other movies are suffering. This one is really good, but this one also trades on the other heroes a lot. It trades on nostalgia for Tobey Maguire, which I have. It trades on a different generation's nostalgia for Andrew Garfield, which they have. And it brings all that in to try and support the new Spider-Man. Willem Dafoe owns this movie. It's good, but any of the other movies on my list right now, I'll probably be talking about. Like if you come to me and say, it's something that really could shake me to the bone that's like innovative and new and fresh, I'll pull either of the 10 movies on my list off the shelf before I would pull the Spider-Man off. And I think that's the only reason. And I don't mean that as a negative. It's cotton candy and it's delicious. But this is the first time that a major Marvel movie that I loved as much as Spider-Man comes out and it's not on my list at all. And that's why I've been saying this is a fucking good year for movies. There you go. I'm glad you guys have it on your list. I'm glad you love it. And I wish I loved it more than some of these other movies, but I don't.
Yeah, I wish I loved it, but
but you suck.
I thought it was mediocre as fuck.
Well, you're wrong about that.
What is your combined number one movie?
Our combined number one movie is
I already know.
Titan.
Titan, baby.
It is. I can't say her name.
Julia Ducournau.
Yeah, she's the director of Raw, another movie that we really love, and it stars Virginie Efira.
Are you sure about that?
What am I wrong? What
does that say?
Oh shit, I'm in the wrong one.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's Agatha Roselle. Roselle?
Yeah,
Roselle. So I love it. So this movie.
Has anyone else seen this?
No one's seen it but us.
God damn it!
So it's so fascinating because I was trying to think about how to describe the story of this movie, and it's so difficult. And when you go and look up the description of the movie, I went and looked on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you know what's there?
What?
The definition of what Titan is, the metal.
Beautiful.
If you go to IMDb, it's the definition of what the metal is. Titan is a metal that is used in situations related to biology because it can sit well with skin and bone and meat. They use it for armor placements and that kind of thing. And that's the definition of this movie. And I don't know. I'm waiting for Zach to explain what this movie is.
The problem is I don't want to fucking spoil it.
Yeah, to really tell the story of Titan is to spoil the movie.
Yes.
And it's one of those, it's one cut of the dead level.
Yes.
Where you just want to say, fucking watch the movie. Because if I tell you what it's about, I'm going to spoil some of the best parts of it. Right? And I think that's why that they just choose to define the metal and say, take a chance, baby. It's from the director of Raw. You liked Raw? Watch this. Raw is like preschool. This is high school, baby. This is, let's take everything to the next level. There's a scene in this movie where you know it's coming. You know it's coming. And when it happens, Zach and I bust out laughing in the theater. And it's one of those beautiful moments where we're the only two laughing.
Yeah. I mean,
because everybody else was shocked because it's so dark.
Well, this is a film where you can go literally from laughing to curled in a ball.
I have never...
Like going like, oh, Jesus!
I have never sat in the theater in the fetal position the way I did in this one because I was so disturbed by some of it.
So I take it's going to be a 12 hours of terror film next year?
No, it's not a horror film.
You can't really make this a horror film in that way because it's not.
And here's the one thing.
No, Climax is horrific.
Yes.
It's terrifying. And this movie has some scary moments, but not horror. No, this movie.
I mean, this
movie is a grindhouse movie.
It's a
but it's an art house movie.
Yes.
Where Nightmare Alley for me had the best ending. This movie has the best oneer.
Oh my God.
The opening oneer. A oneer, for anybody who's listening doesn't know what a oneer is, it's a single take with no cuts. And this movie has it, boy.
This is a film God, Second Sight, if you can listen, please, I'm fucking begging you for a 4K.
I have struggled since we saw this movie to figure out a way to explain what it's about, and I don't know.
Because it's so fucking hard. And it's about a girl who, when she was a child, was in a car accident.
And what happens to her when she grows up? That's really all you can say.
That's all you can say.
It's batshit crazy, this movie.
It's the only other film on this list. I was like, where the fuck is this going?
So we have talked about this in previous shows and on our 12 Hours of Terror about there was an era of film in the early 2000s called French extremism. It died in like 2010-ish. They stopped making them.
Because
this director right here is bringing it back, baby. She's bringing it back full speed ahead. This is not horror, but it's extreme cinema. And it pushes all the buttons. It takes you to places I've never been cinematically before.
But it also has meat on the bone. It has subtext. It has...
Well, none of the extreme parts would work without the subtext. Yeah. There's a story in here that's just fascinating. But to describe it is to spoil it. And that fucking sucks. And I hate it. But fuck me. See this movie. It is my number one.
Please.
Nothing came close to this movie.
Yeah, that was the shocking part is nothing fucking came close.
And this is why when I told you that this has been such a good year for movies, we had this and we had Nightmare Alley and we had Benedetta. I mean, fuck you.
Yeah, my top 5 is fucking great. You know, my top 6 to 9 is not so much. But
okay, so outside of that, what I am thrilled about though is if you look at our top 10s as a whole, the first wave is one that most of us share. Like it's an equal sampling, really. 2/3 of us.
Don't Look Up.
I was going to say we've got Nathan missing the first wave, and you've got me missing from Don't Look Up. Those, if you're only going to watch, I guess, 2 movies from our list across the board, those are the 2 that you probably want to watch.
Oh, and they're vastly different. We recommend watching First Wave first, so that way you get a pick-me-up for Don't Look Up.
That's a good idea. That is a great idea. Yeah, don't watch First Wave last and try to go to bed like I did, because I watched it.
You won't be able to.
I finished it at like midnight at 3:00 in the morning. I'm texting you guys with tears in my eyes, go, fuck me.
First
I don't know what I've done to myself.
Yeah,
it's on Hulu. Yeah.
I mean, but also you should watch Titan.
God fucking hell. Watch Titan. All right, so I want to say a quick thank you to Kiara. I want to just double check the chat and see what she's been saying in here. She's been following us the whole time. If you want to see the conversation, you can follow us over on Culturesmash TV on the YouTube channel and also the audio version if that's what you're listening to. I think we should bring it to an end, right?
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Dude, I've been waiting to get to Titan for 3 fucking hours.
But we can't talk about it. We can't talk about it.
That's how the demo recorder works.
That's how it works.
You could have ranked it.
All right, Nico, where do we find you on the internet, sir?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Nico Scream, NIKOSCREAM. Keep track of my Wordle scores as I play that game because I'm addicted.
All right, Tina.
You can find me on most major social media sites under Cheddar Popper. That is CHEDRPOPPR. And as always, the very sleepy Shadow Pupper who's given us the bedroom eyes of let's go the fuck to sleep.
I love it.
On Instagram at the.shadow.pupper.
Nathan?
You can find me on Instagram, Nate_R_70. And yeah.
All right. Zachy boy?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. You can also find me on Steam as well as Discord. I am a dangerous mute lunatic.
All right. So, of course, you can. I post on the Culturesmash Facebook page, but you can also.
Oh, and you can also find me on Letterboxd username. What is it? Master Z91 or Zach Martin.
There you go.
Also, Letterboxd Nico Scream.
Nico Scream is on Letterboxd. Find me on Letterboxd at Culturesmash. It is a good way to keep up with. You could probably, if you were following our Letterboxd, you would know what our top 10s were. It's pretty clear to be able to see that. So you can also find me on Off the Shelf Movie Night. You will see an abbreviated video tomorrow of my top 10 list. And then I'm on TikTok, OTS Movies. I went over to the Nashville hostel to see if it's in one piece after the bombing. You can go and see that. I know. I gotta learn the social medias, buddy. Anyway, this was fun. I think this was some of our coolest lists that we've had in a few years. I've got movies to watch from each of the lists, so that's pretty awesome. I'm excited. Until next week, we'll see everybody later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Yeah, I can't wait for you to watch Don't Look Up.